Okay, welcome back to Takedown Wrestling. Appreciate you checking back in with us here. We're here from the 2013 Big Ten Wrestling Championships and in Assembly Hall in Champaign, Illinois, and having a great time just following the Big Ten Championships, or as Jeff Murphy and myself, Steve Foster, have said, it's kind of the mini nationals almost here. But there's a lot of great wrestlers in many other conferences, and in our break, actually, Jeff Murphy, we spent a little time talking about some of the other real good tournaments going on around the United States. Some of them are just getting wrapped up. Some of them have already been done. Pac-12 already had theirs.
Yeah, Pac-12
had theirs already, and Boise State was in second. The Beavers came in first, right? Jim Zaleski and Coach Steiner and Oregon State.
Absolutely.
Won it, I believe.
We saw the EIWA championships. We looked at that for a while this afternoon. Cornell firmly in first place, EIWA championships. Kyle Dake with a tech fall to win his championship title.
Was it 20-5?
20-5.
I think Dake won.
Navy in second. Penn in third, and Lehigh in fourth. Now that could change a little bit because there were still a couple of matches left to go. But so here at the Big Tens, let's take a look at the team standings real quick, Steve. They're up there on the big board. So if we look in the top 5 places, number 5, Illinois with 33 points. Number 4, Ohio State with 47.5 points. Number 3, Minnesota with 49 points. Number 2, Penn State with 62. And number 1, Iowa with 79 points. So a 17-point lead going into the semifinals. That's a pretty big lead, Steve.
Yeah, it is. It's going to, I mean, the bonus point factor for the Penn State Nittany Lions obviously is there. I don't know from here on out if Megalunas will be getting any bonus necessarily, but of course David Taylor, Ed Ruth, and Quentin Wright, I call them the trifecta. They really have a chance at getting bonus points anytime they step on the mat. But like any tournament, we've learned, Jeff, being a hardcore wrestling fan like myself over the years, I think this is my 9th Big Ten. Everybody says that's not that great. Well, I went to about 15 Big 12s too, and been to, I think, this is my 27th or 8th Nationals. That'll be in Des Moines. But what I'm saying is this. Those bonus points come in are important, but they get harder to score them more times not the deeper you get in the tournament. Well, because you get more of the cream of the crop.
And that's a really good point, Steve, because it'll be interesting to see what happens, because so Iowa's got 9 guys in the championship, so 9 guys in the semifinals tonight. And obviously all 9 of those guys are going to have a chance to earn additional points. If they're in the semifinals, I suppose they probably got already points for at least 4th place. That's my guess. So, you know, if that is said, well, 5th place probably.
And you got their 3 big point scorers, or their favored ones. Although McDonough, you know, he had a 1-point match.
Well, so I guess
5-4.
Point I was making, they should at least be in 6th place if they're in the semifinals. I'm sorry. So they should get the 6th place points up there on the board. So there's a difference of 6 points per wrestler between 2nd place and 6th place, and so consequently, you know, every one of those semifinal matches is worth 6 points plus an advancement point. Okay, so 7. Now, if you look at the guys,
bonus, if it's there,
and there's probably not as much opportunity to earn those bonus points because you're wrestling a better wrestler. Where some of the guys that are in the consolations on the backside, having, you know, no one's out of this tournament yet. Everybody's got it.
Everybody's still alive, exactly.
And so there's probably some additional opportunity for bonus points. So you got to think, you know, Coach Cale Sanderson is saying to his team, you guys in the
Alton brothers,
we got to all wrestle back and get 3rd, and I need you to pin a couple guys along the way.
Persall, he's in wrestlebacks. He got beat, and but Conaway had a big win for Penn State.
Yep.
And Megalunas, the ones that you thought should win did. Megalunas, Taylor, Ruth, and Wright. And for the Hawkeyes, hey, they just been on fire, you know. Ash Karoga had a pretty decent match with Ray Moss because he came on strong at the end there. But And McDonough with a 1-point match. St. John's been on a tear.
Yep.
He's looked real good at 157 pounds. But
so I would say this, Steve, that the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to have a really poor round tonight.
Yeah,
and Penn State's
they would really have
a
to
really
fall
good
like
one.
pendulums, really.
And then we'll see what happens. So.
And Burrick looked good against last year's Big Ten champ. He beat Mario Gonzalez from the Illinois Illini. So I think that was a big win at 197.
Well, that's just it. And then you also have to look at Nick Moore. Nick Moore had a really nice match here earlier today.
Yeah, he did. He had a big win there. Moore did.
Beat Cody Yon from Minnesota. He gets the distinct pleasure of wrestling Mr. David Taylor this round.
Yeah, you have DT, Stick of Dynamite, to take on there, Mr. Taylor. So, but a scoring machine.
You know, all in all, I mean, I think the Iowa Hawkeyes have to be extremely happy. Although Coach Sanderson maybe isn't overjoyed with it, certainly not out of the running, but the team that I think's probably got the biggest disappointment level at this point in the game is Minnesota. Minnesota 30 points out of first place right now. Had a couple of big wrestlers go down.
I didn't see that happen. I didn't see that happening. I thought they would. I thought they'd be right in the hunt.
I did
could
too,
be, but Logan Storley was the big win or loss to Yates from Michigan. So the number 1 seat went down for Minnesota.
Storley and a few of their lightweight guys that just, but that hasn't been their strength all year. Their strength's been in the heavier weights, and 30 points is just a lot of points to make up.
They're top heavy, Minnesota is. How about then, of course, the other big upset was Ohio State had some nice wins. They're in 4th right now with 47.5 points. So I'm sure, obviously, Tom Ryan would love to be leading this thing, but they don't quite have the guns to win the tournament, I don't believe. But Steebers are doing good, obviously.
Yep, Ian Paddock at 149 had the big win over Gray Hollis from.
Took out the number 1 seed, so Paddock did real good for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And we got some good matches coming up here. Semifinals are always fun. I mean, you and I, we can have fun at a junior high wrestling tournament. We love the sport so much.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is when you're a hardcore wrestling fan. So
we got the updated brackets hot off the presses now, so we can sound intelligent instead of looking at all the scribbles and hieroglyphics that we did earlier in the day.
Right.
So as we sort of look at this thing as we go down tonight,
20 over to semifinals.
Yep, 25-pound match, Matt McDonough versus Sean Boyle. McDonough number 1 seed, Boyle a number 4 seed. And on the bottom half, Megaludis and Delgado. What do you think, Steve?
It's going to be a barn burner. Megaludis is tough, obviously, and Delgado, he's slayed enough giants that he's kind of become a giant. You know, after you called the giant slayer the first time you do it, or second time you do it, and then third time you do it, you start becoming one of the giants.
In the match.
Probably got caught.
A scramble.
And in his case, I don't think it's unfair to say he got caught. Not that Megaludis didn't have to be real good to be in that position and pull off that win by a pin, but that's going to be a great semifinal match. Yep. Delgado. I almost, to be frank with you, if McDonough wins it over Boyle of Michigan, I don't know if you'd rather have Delgado for a revenge factor, or if it's like, oh no, not him again, let me go after Megaludis. So I don't know what his frame of mind is, but you got to beat everybody one at a time. So how about 133 pounds?
So at 133 pounds, we've got the number 1 seed, Logan Stieber from Ohio State University. He made it into the semifinals with a fall versus Jordan Conaway from Penn State University. And on the bottom half of the bracket, you've got Tyler Graff from Wisconsin and the number 2 seed, Tony Ramos from Iowa. So the 1 and the 4 versus the 2 and the 3. Your thoughts, Steve?
Well, I'll tell you, Stieber's been on a roll. I know probably a lot of the people, except for the Graff family, Wisconsin fans, and the Penn State fans, are hoping for a Stieber-Ramos showdown. And that's what, if I was a betting man, that's where I put my money, obviously. But the Tyler Graff, one thing he's got going for him, he wins the vast majority of his matches, and he's been around a while. He's a veteran, so he's no new wrestler to the dance here. He knows what to do. Conaway, he did beat Darryl Thomas. Hopefully he didn't shoot all of his bullets, because that was a Donnybrook. That was kind of like the Boston Marathon match of the tournament, maybe you'd call it. That thing went on and on and on, and hopefully he didn't get spent, but You know, I got to give Stieber the favor against Conaway, I would think, and Logan's been on a tear. I mean, he's just been eating people up, but nothing new there. But I'm hoping for maybe a Ramos-Stieber rematch. But, hey, you know me, we're trying to be nonpartisan, so if Graff or Conaway gets in there, they deserve it, and let the best man win in the finals.
So if we look at 141, we've got the other Stieber brother, Hunter Stieber, the younger of the two brothers.
Both undefeated this year.
Hunter's going to face Brandon Nilsson from Purdue. Nilsson, a 2-1 winner over Pearsall from Penn State. And in the bottom half of the bracket, the 3 seed, Mark Ballwood, with a nice win over Ridge Kiley in the quarterfinals. Ballwood is going to wrestle the 2 seed, Nick Dardanes from Minnesota.
And I believe they've split this year.
Chad.
I do believe they split matches this year.
Okay. Ballwig and Dardanes.
Yep, and the duel and I believe at national duels.
Dardanes got bonus points maybe at national duels, if I remember right.
Yep.
He at the latest match, there was a decent point spread, I believe, in favor of Dardanes.
Ballwig did win the first meetup matching, though.
Okay, that sounds good. And then Nilsson, you know, you can't count him out, but he's got one of the Stieber brothers, so obviously he's got a mountain to climb. But he really controlled Pearsall in that match. I remember it was right down here in front of us, Jeff Murphy. And the Purdue Boilermaker, the number 5 seed, Brandon Nelson, really did a good job of not letting the favored Pearsall come out on top. So Nelson, you know, he's probably going to have to slow it down and try to take control of the match, because you know the Stiebers, they come out just guns a-blaring. So.
Yep. So if we go to 149, the weight class that's the most messed up. In the
thanks to Paddock
from a seedings. Well, thanks to Paddock, and on the bottom half of the bracket too. So Ian Paddock from Ohio State, the number 8 seed in the top half of the bracket semifinal, he's going to face Jake Souflon from Nebraska. Souflon with a nice win over Andrew Alton from Penn State in the quarters.
10-6, 4-point spread.
And in the bottom half of the bracket, the number 3 seed Dylan Ness. He had a fall in the quarterfinals. He's going to face Dan Osterman from Michigan State University. Osterman and Lupin Chansky.
Boy, that went on and on and on.
Yeah, wrestled a long match here earlier in the day. Osterman comes out on top in the second overtime period.
So you got a Spartan and a Minnesota Gopher. And I'll tell you one thing about Dylan Ness. He probably doesn't want to start like he did last time. Do you remember he got thrown to his back?
Yep.
Right in front of the Illinois fans. Irvin, I believe it was. Was it Caleb Irvin from Illinois? Took him right down to his back. He didn't get the 5 count, so if I remember right, he got 2 takedown, 2 back points, and then he came back and won by a pin. So, But Ian Paddock, you know, you got the number 8 seed against the number 4 seed up on top. I would say Souflon probably is favored, but Paddock, you know, he beat Grahalis, so it'll be fun. You got the Buckeye, the Husker, the Gopher, and the Spartan.
Yep. Well, after watching Paddock wrestle that first-round match, I certainly wouldn't count him out today.
I'm impressed. And Ohio State being in 4th place, I'm sure they'd love to get the points. And that Paddock could get him, obviously.
What's crazy about that is Paddock wasn't even a solidified starter out throughout the season because they had Cam Tassari in that weight class.
That's right. Tassari's been in there for quite a while, Cam had. And so, well, I don't know, maybe it was a good switch up after all.
Might be the 11th man of the year.
Yeah, there you go.
You get your opportunity, you got to go for it. So, 157, number 1 seed Derek St. John from Iowa facing James Green, the number 4 seed from Nebraska. And in the bottom half of the bracket, we've got Josh Demas from Ohio State University beat the other Alton brother in sudden victory in the quarterfinals. And he's going to face the number 2 seed Jason Welch from Northwestern University.
St. John's on a tear, but like we mentioned earlier, Chad Chris, thanks for going to getting the brackets. But while you were going, we were talking about the bonus points are harder to get now. You're starting getting into more of the cream of the crop. And I think that's what will happen with St. John and Green. Now, they wrestled last time in a duel at Carver, and St. John was Victoria because Nebraska traveled to Iowa City, I remember this year, and St. John beat them. They're on neutral ground now. There are a lot of Hawkeye fans, obviously, because they travel amazingly well. Yep. But at the same time, it's not Carver. So can Green make up the difference?
I think this is the most exciting set of semis out of any weight class right here.
It's a good one.
But Green has looked good. He's been real powerful from the neutral position, too. And when he takes bad shots, he's back out right away, and that's usually where St. John scores on reshots. I don't think you're going to see St. John scoring on too many reshots.
I'd say again, St. John's is favored, but Green, if he won it won't completely shock me necessarily. Demos, like Jeff Murphy mentioned, had a real good, nice win against Alton. So, and then Mr. Excitement, Mr. Scrambling Machine, Mr. Funkmeister, Jason Welch down there for the Wildcats. He'll be funky and he'll be fun.
So let's look at the 165 pounds. 165 pounds, number 1 seed David Taylor with a tech fall in the quarterfinals. He's going to face Nick Moore, the number 4 seed. Had a nice 5-4 win over Cody Yon in the quarters. And in the bottom half of the bracket, the number 3 seed, Taylor Massa from Michigan. Taylor's going to wrestle Conrad Pulse from Illinois, the number 2 seed. So this bracket went pretty true to form in the quarters.
Yeah, it did. Taylor, Moore's going to feed off the fans here, but there's not just a handful of Penn State fans here either. So that one's going to get noisy around here, guys, because we're right in the heart, in the middle of the Penn State fans, located in the spaceship here, as we call it. But also to our left is all the Iowa fans. So that's going to be fun. Anytime Iowa and Penn State lock it up, I got to believe, obviously, Taylor's the favorite. He's so good. I don't know, Chad Chris, do you see David Taylor getting bonus points maybe even or not? I mean, I think he could.
Moore wrestles him close, and that's one thing that Moore could hold it to a 2-point match, or Moore
He's got to slow it down. He's got to take control and slow it down. If he gets into a slugfest with him, it won't be to his favor, I don't believe.
No.
Because you're not going to slugfest with Taylor. Mesa from Michigan, good-looking kid. Conrad Pultz very seldom gets out of balance, gets off balance, and I think Conrad pulls that one out, the number 2 and number 3 seed. Like Jeff said, this is 1 against 4, 3 against 2, so it went according to form. But I think it's Taylor's to win this whole tournament.
Yep, so we're going to continue with this in just a second, but just a quick announcement. We're going to start the wrestling here at 125 pounds, and we're going to go through a round of consolations first before we move on. So we'll kind of keep you posted as those go on too, but we're going to continue down the brackets and look at
set the stage for the semis.
Yep. So we'll go to 174 pounds, where Dan Yates from Michigan pulled the upset over Logan Storley. Won 3-2 in the quarterfinals. Yates, a number 8 seed. And he's going to face Matt Brown from Penn State University. Brown with a mild upset over Nick Heflin in a really good match. Brown wins 7-1 in the quarters. In the bottom half of that bracket, you got Jordan Blanton from Illinois. Blanton with an 8-2 win over Robert Kokish from Nebraska. Again, Blanton the 6th seed, so the 6th seed beats the 3 seed. And then in the bottom, very last participant here, you have Mike Evans from Iowa. Evans a 2 seed. So you got the 8 seed versus a 5 and the 6 versus a 2.
I know this much. Evans probably is, I don't know. Evans is a competitive guy. He loves competition, so I'm not going to say he's celebrating that Storley's not in there. But Storley has beat Evans both times they wrestled this year. And unless Evans loses to Blanton, it looks like we won't have a Storley-Evans rematch, which, according to seeding, should happen. But starting from the bottom, I'd say Evans is favored against Jordan Blanton. He brings it. Matt Brown, Yates, what I saw from him, we commented, he's very physically strong. That's why I think he beat Storley. And Matt Brown is too. So I'm still going to give Matt Brown maybe a slight edge there for Penn State, because then it's the number 5 seed against the number 8 seed. But it's going to be fun to watch.
So we go to 184. 184, we start off with the number 1 seed, Ed Ruth. Ed Ruth with the tech fall in the quarterfinals. He's going to face the 5 seed, Ethan Lofthouse. Ethan with the win over John Rizwala, from Michigan State. Lofthouse is a number 5 seed. In the bottom half of the bracket, we got Josh Einen from Nebraska, a 3 seed. He's going to face Kevin Steinhaus. Steinhaus, the 2 seed. Steinhaus with a nice win in the quarterfinals. Again, a tech fall in the quarterfinals.
I kind of see Ruth and Steinhaus in a crash course here. They're just kind of head there, I think. But I mean, Einen, he's doing good for Nebraska. Can't count him out. He beat Delgado from Illinois in the quarters. Lofthouse against Ruth. Boy, Ruth, I tell you, Lofthouse is going to have his hands full, because when you grab a hold of Ruth, you got a tiger on your tail. And I'd have to say Ruth is pound for pound maybe the best wrestler in the gym today.
Absolutely. So we go on to 197, and we start off with Quentin Wright. the number 1 seed, right, with a big throw and a big fall, absolutely, in the quarterfinals. Quentin Wright's going to face the number 4 seed, Andrew Campolata. You get it right, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Sorry. I'm struggling on with that name today. So that's the top half of the bracket. The bottom half, you have Nathan Burrick from Iowa. Burrick with a really nice 3-2 win over last year's champion, Mario Gonzalez from Illinois. Burrick, the 6th seed. He's going to face the 2 seed, Scott Schiller from Minnesota. Schiller with a workmanlike 5-3 victory over Jackson Hine of Wisconsin in the quarters.
Schiller looked good, like you said, against Burrick. Burrick's going to have a big crowd here. Minnesota travels good, though, too. There's a lot of Gopher fans here. I don't know how to call that. I got to say Schiller's obviously on paper favored because he's the number 2 seed, so that's going to be fun. Quentin Wright, Capitano's going to have a hard time beating Quentin Wright. He's on a mission. He's always dangerous. Quentin Wright, I just think he should have maybe I don't know if he deserves a crossbones and skull on a singlet, but he's dangerous, my friend.
So Thorne goes out in the consolation matches here, and with David Thorne gets a pin over Matthew Cavaleros of Wisconsin. So already a pin. I think there was a fall on the far mat as well, Steve, but we sort of missed that
Wins and bonus points are real important right now.
Absolutely. And last but not least, the heavyweights. So at the heavyweights, we got the number 1 seed, Tony Nelson, with a 4-0 win over Ben Applin in the quarterfinals. He's going to face Bobby Telford from Iowa. Telford with a 4-0 win over Mike McClure. So the 1 versus a 4 in the top half, and the 2 versus a 3 in the bottom half. The 2 seed, Mike McMullen, 6-4 victor over Jimmy Lawson from Penn State in the quarters. And in the match that earlier today, we weren't quite sure how it finished. As it turns out, Connor Medberry from Wisconsin, the 3 seed, with a 7-3 victory over Adam Chalfant from Indiana. So number 2, McMullen versus number 3, Medberry. Number 1, Nelson versus number 4, Telford.
Well, we've been calling him Tony Half Nelson because he's got a half Nelson that's almost Jake Varner reminisce. You know what I mean? We used to call that the Jake Varner crowbar. But Tony Half Nelson, he gets on top of you, well, you're in trouble. The problem is Bobby Telford's not easy to take down. So I'd have to give Nelson the edge, but Telford's a tough kid. You know, I mean, he's young and he's strong, and that could be fun. I'd say Nelson's probably slightly favored. He is the returning Division I national champion as well, Nelson is for Minnesota. So I'd say he's the slight favorite there. Medberry and McMullen. McMullen's same age or came out of high school with Telford, the number 1 and number 2 high school recruits when they came out of high school back, and not just a couple years back. And I'd say McMullen's favored here for the Northwestern Wildcats, but I don't know if there's any other Wildcats between Jason Welch and McMullen, but I'm sure the Wildcat fans would love that are in the finals. I'm sure the Wildcats would love for McMullen to win one, get in the finals. I predict Nelson McMullen in the finals, but you know, if Telford gets those Iowa fans behind him, anything could happen. But it's going to be fun, you know. And Nelson gets on top of you, though, boy. Chad Chris, he rides tough, don't he?
He does. And Telford has wrestled them to real close matches.
Yeah.
Most every time they've met, you know, I do believe they did go into a tiebreaker once this year. So it's going to be exciting, that's for sure.
Well, Telford doesn't give up any size. You know, Telford's big, so
he's tall.
And I think Nelson's used to usually wrestling the guys a little bit smaller. I don't know who made the comment. It was either you or Jeff Murphy that Tony Nelson actually looks a little. He can't shrink in height, but he looks leaner.
Yeah, he looks a little bit more trim right now, and
he really does.
I think he's been quicker this year too because of it.
Yeah, usually that really helps with the speed. I know my good friend Dave Zabriskie. We called him the champ. I used to talk to him because he wrestled heavyweight at 215, 220, and he said, I beat the big guys by wearing them out and being faster than they are. And Tony Nelson's probably taking advantage of that too. But Tony's got big bone structure. He's strong and just a big, tough, strong Minnesota Gopher. So that's going to be fun. And we're going to come back here to some wrestlebacks. I know we had, I think Jeff said John Thorne was victorious, won by a pin for Minnesota. Yeah, we'll try to start calling some of these matches here for you.
We're getting our expert technician here, Chad.
There you go.
Working the microphone so that we do the right thing. So
Prisnator, huh?
Hardly an expert.
Hardly an expert.
David Thorne moves on for the Minnesota Gophers.
Much more of an expert than either one of us. So
Let's see here. Nico Trigus is wrestling Kofi. I think they're now down here on mat 81, or match number 81, pardon me. And that might have ended quick, too.
Match number 81.
I think that's over.
I think so, too.
There's Illinois. I know that's Daryl Thompson, so I'll try to find Thompson's match here. Boy, he had the barn burner with Conaway the first round, I know. That was fun to watch. That went on and on. I think he's wrestling Garrison White on match number 85. So he's Illini. They're hosting. I'll kind of keep track of that one. I believe Daryl Thomas is leading down there 6-3 is the score there for Illinois. Daryl Thomas against Garrison White of Northwestern Wildcats. White starts down, Thomas on top. First period, starting the second period, pardon me. 51 seconds of riding time for Daryl Thomas. Thomas is, he's one I could say could make it to the, I think on paper here he should be maybe down there wrestling for third or fourth. It's hard to tell. He's going to, Dardanes is on the other side of the bracket. Thomas starts on type. Nice tight waist ankle ride. Up to his feet is Garrison White, but nice kick back there for Thomas. Potentially dangerous on the knee there. Referee stops the Thomas Garrison White match at 133 pounds. This is match number 85 right now.
Yep.
Thomas will start on top. 52 to go in the second period. Just getting started. Up to his feet is Garrison White. It's out, scores the escape. Should be 6-4, I believe. Yeah, fine, they got the point up there. So 6-4.
Steve, over here on mat number 4, Joe Duca from Indiana. He's ahead of the number 8 seed, Don Malone from Northwestern, 5-0 with 33 seconds left in the match.
If I remember right, Don Malone's the one that gave Matt McDonough the 1-point match. Is that correct? At the first, he took McDonough down and put him on his back. So.
Absolutely.
So Malone got on my radar screen there with that real close match with Matt McDonough. We got a fresh start down there still. It's 8-4 in favor of Daryl Thomas. He's a hometown wrestler here for the Fighting Illini at the University of Illinois.
Yep, and over on mat number 2, we've got Brennan Lyon from Michigan State University. He's wrestling Camden Eppert from Purdue.
Eppert up?
Yeah, Eppert's on top, 4-1, with 21 seconds left in the match. And going back that Duca Malone match, and Duca wins that one 6-2.
So Malone goes down.
Upsets the
Don
number
Malone.
8 seed, and Duca advances.
He must have used off his energy there trying to dethrone Matt McDonough, huh? Because that was a 1-point match.
Yep.
But Daryl Thomas really going for the shots here. Now, takedown or not, 2-point takedown for the Illinois Illini. So 10-5 is the score down there between Thomas and Garrison White.
And Camden Eppert with a very nice win over Brennan Lyon. So Eppert and Thorne, Trigus and Duca at 125 pounds in the second round of the consolations here a little later this evening. We'll wrestle 2 rounds of consolations tonight and the semifinals. And then we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m., I believe. And we'll wrestle the rest of the consolation matches, the 7th place match, and then we'll have the 5th, 3rd, and 1st place matches at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Sounds good. Thomas still leading down there 10-5. Did we have, let's see, Cash Karoga's out.
Match 83.
See, is done.
I don't know what this one is. They got this. That's got to be him right there, Steve, in front of us, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Cash right
Wrestling Nagel, Sean Nagel from. They just got a weird number up on the board.
Karoga leads now against Nagel of Nebraska. Case Karoga in on 2 more. So
yeah, but
he finished.
No, he just tied it up. It's 5-5 now.
Actually, he was trailing.
Yep.
So
and
Nagel gets out, gets the escape. So 6-5, and he's in on a leg, Jeff.
Yep. So Nagel looks like he may get the takedown here. Karoga's fighting him off, but Nagel
big trip there and a takedown there. So big takedown there for Nagel.
Yep. So 8-5 for Nagel. 1 minute left in the second period.
They are the 7 and 8 seed here.
Yep.
So,
and over on the far mat, Chris Dardanes from Minnesota, he's up 2-0 on Alonzo Shepard from Indiana. There's about 2 minutes left in the first period on that match.
Daryl Thomas is in control now down on his match against Garrison White. Big cradle move, 2-point takedown, I believe a 3-point near fall. So,
yep. And on the other match in the 133-pound class, Brandon Fifield from Michigan State University versus Rossi Bruno from Michigan. So Michigan State. Right now, Bruno on top, 2-1 with about a minute left in the first period.
Bruno looks tough. Cash Kuroga gets out, so it's 8-6 now. He's kind of does the stalking, but it seems like Nago just kind of out techniques him a little bit. Kuroga's a real short, powerful-looking wrestler. Actually, got a big 4-point move on Ramos at the end of their match previously and kind of made a shot there. He's got a limp arm and get out of there. 3-2-1 into the period, so didn't score on that situation. He was in a scoring position. Cash Kuroga will take down Nagel on top. Sean Nagel from the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yep, 8-6.
Started on top.
46 seconds of riding time for Nagel as well.
I think Thomas, has 17 points down there or not? He can score.
17-8's that score over there, Steve.
17-8.
26 seconds left in the match.
And Garrison White fights off another one. That Thomas is fast. It's real quick. Nagel
Very quick.
got the leg in. Nagel did. Got part of it in there, trying to go for that far cradle.
And Dardanes is looks like he's in on a takedown. He's kind of in a funky position.
Get the old gator roll going there.
Yeah. Nick Dardanes up 4-2, 22 seconds left in the first period. I think the referee's probably going to blow a stalemate on that one if it doesn't change.
Well, you'd think, wouldn't you? He's not counting it out, but
it looks like Dardanes is close to breaking that and getting around.
The winner on mat number 3 from Illinois, Daryl Thomas.
So Daryl Thomas wins big, 20-8, so 12 points. So he gets a major, and the Illinois local fan crowd is loving it when Mr. Daryl Thomas moves on. So.
Chris Dardanes did score at the end of that period, it looks like.
Came out of the scramble. So
right as time expired, so he will start the second period down with a 6-2 lead and 1 minute. Oh, actually doesn't have riding time.
Yeah, I think that riding time was going backwards, to be honest with you.
It's going the wrong way.
Because it should have been counting up.
Do that.
Yeah, he is red. Oh, nice knee pick by Dardanes for the takedown.
Now, Cash Kuroga's taking the lead down here, 9-8. So against Sean Nagel of Nebraska. Nice tight waist.
Yep.
I'll tell you, Nagel gets the escape. We're all tied up 9-9 down here between Nagel and Kuroga.
And Nagel's got 1 minute and 17 seconds of riding time, Steve.
So I'll tell you what, we saw Cash Kuroga score a lot of points big at the end there against Ramos, but if he could get a stall call, that could he. I don't know if there's been any stall
30
calls.
30 seconds left in that match.
Kuroga's got to stalk him, and he's got to score big here.
Yep, Nagel just trying to fight him off.
Stall warning.
Yep.
Stall warning against Nagel of Nebraska.
So 18 seconds left, 9-9 on the scoreboard, but riding time in favor of Nagel.
And he's just got a there's Kuroga.
He tries to shoot.
In on an underhook.
Nagel backs out.
Man.
They go off the mat, 11 seconds left.
That almost looked Greco-Roman. That's upper body.
Kuroga's going to have a big move here.
He's got to go to his go-to move, huh, Chad Chris?
It looks
there
like
it is, maybe.
He's
in on their leg.
Nope.
Oh, Nagel fights it off.
Yeah. Nagel's going to win this one on a riding time point.
Cash Kuroga, former All-American, right, Chad Chris?
Yep, at 125.
He was All-American and didn't pull it out. So with riding time, 10-9, Sean Nagel moves on for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
And
that's big.
If we look over on the mat with Chris Dardanes with a big lead now, 9-3, and a lot of riding time.
Yeah,
that match is winding down the last few seconds of the second period. So Dardanes in the driver's seat there. And in our other match,
Bruno.
Yep, Rossi Bruno with a.
He's in the green, I believe, isn't he? Or is he red?
No, he's in the red. Rossi Bruno, with a 7-1 lead in the third period, just getting started in that third period.
Over Fifield. Brandon Fifield for Michigan State Spartans.
Yep. in match number 87.
So Bruno's got the lead there, and Dardanes is kind of the driver's seat down here, as you previously mentioned. And it's third period, I believe, correct? And Dardanes start on top.
Period. Yep.
And so almost 3 minutes of riding time already racked up as well.
What's that, Chad?
Dardanes also has about 3 minutes of riding time to start.
Yeah, he does. You're right, Chad. Chris, a lot of riding time there for the Minnesota Gopher, pardon me.
If we look across the auditorium, gentlemen, we've got Nick Trimble from Michigan State University wrestling Pat Greco from Northwestern. It looks like Greco is up 2-1 at this point in the first period.
And Greco will be trying to get the color on the
Greco's
anklet.
red.
Okay.
Greco's a Northwestern wrestler, and he's got a red ankle bands.
We'll see if he does some throws and he starts wrestling Greco.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greco-Roman, maybe. With that name, maybe he feels obligated to do a little Greco, huh? Dardane's still in the driver's seat here, 11-5, and he gets some more points. He does, so he's racking them up here, trying to pick up some more points for Minnesota.
13-5,
who was in third place, I believe, correct?
Yeah,
for the team race
absolutely.
at the time.
So. And a lot, 30 points back from first.
But they're scoring. You know, Big Thorn had a pin, right?
Yeah. Well, they need a lot of those.
Yeah.
I mean, that Dardane's got to go for the additional bonus points here.
Got to get some major if he can. And I'm sure Alonzo Shepard said you're not going to do it. So from Indiana.
So we're in the third period with a minute left down here.
For
Rossi Bruno's of Michigan is ahead 7-2, working on another takedown. Looks like he may, if he gets this other takedown, it'll be 9-2.
Against Brandon Fifield of the Michigan State Spartans.
Doesn't get the takedown, but time runs out and he wins the match.
So he wins it. So Bruno moves on. It'll be him against Daryl Thomas.
You are going to see the team scores get a little bit closer after this consolation round, too, because Iowa does only have one guy on the backside.
Yeah.
And Minnesota is on the backside as well as Penn State. So they're going to close the gap there.
Yep. And some bonus points here. Looks like if Dardanes, is he getting this takedown? Boy, he needs it to be 17-7. He'd secure the major. And he gets it. So 17-7 plus riding time, correct?
Yep.
About 3:20 riding time. He'll end up around 3:20 with riding time.
Here from Wisconsin.
It's kind of a funky position they're in right there. It looked like he could have went 2 to Kylie, and now looks like it's 2 for Wisconsin. Yep.
And so
he was already in control.
Yeah, he was in control. So it's 2-0 in favor of Kelleher right now. 47 seconds left in the first period. And we've got Brian Pearsall down here wrestling Alex Gregory from Indiana. Pearsall from Penn State, 0-0 early in the first
green
period.
And Wisconsin's red. So, and Greco still leads Trimble, I believe. Greco's up 6-4. 47 seconds to go in the second period. A lot of riding time. Riding time might be in favor of Michigan State, though, believe it or not. I think Trimble picked up some riding time, but nice little go-behind here attempt. He needs to get the crossface. Greco needs to do a crossface here and needs to get this takedown.
And we've got one other match going on over here on mat number 2, and that is Steven Rodriguez from Illinois and Cameron Jackson from Michigan. Jackson ahead 4-2 with just a minute gone by in the first period.
Michigan is in the green, and Rodriguez filling in there for B.J. Futrell. We told the fans earlier, a lot of the fans that follow on the internet know that B.J. Futrell, his senior year, he's done for. It's unfortunate. I think he was only lost a time or two, if any at all, before his injury. He's ranked third in the nation, so it's tough to see kids finish their career that way. And their heavyweight, Walker, same situation for the Fighting Illini. I think he was 14 or 15-1 at the time.
Tough
when Walker got injured.
Those are big points come March.
That is.
Conference tournament and the NCAA tournament.
Last time we saw Walker, Chad Krizenite at Midlands, he was in crutches and a cast around his ankle. So tough times for Mr. Walker going down. But 6-4 still down there on mat number 3, match number 87. So that's a good match there between Trimble and Greco.
Yep, and Kylie with a takedown on, Alex Gregory from Indiana with a takedown on Brian Pearsall. Gregory now ahead 2-0 with about a minute left in the first period.
Trimbo's riding Greco tough. We'll see if Greco can get out here for Northwestern. Riding time is in favor of Greco, actually, and he does get the escape, so 7-4, Greco leads Trimble. Trimble wrestles for the Spartans of Michigan State.
Pearsall from Penn State gets the escape. Both wrestlers back on their feet, center of the mat, 40 seconds left. Scores 2-1, Gregory over Pearsall.
So, yeah, Indiana's Gregory leads Pearsall right now. Pearsall was the number 4 seed, so. Kelleher against Kiley, Ridge Kiley.
Yep, Kelleher still on top, 2-0.
Still on top, 2-0. Both in red singlets.
Yep, and Cameron Jackson up 4-2 over Rodriguez from Illinois.
So, yeah, Rodriguez in there on a shot, but Jackson doing a good job just keeping his legs back. Double underhook, so he's fighting off that. Nice double leg takedown, though. Right off those double underhooks, he blasts right into a blast double, and the referee says he ran out of time.
Yep.
And Joe McFarland saying, what do you mean we ran out of time?
And then we have the escape down here.
Okay.
In the last seconds, Kelleher jumps to his feet and escapes, and they do give him the point, but it was right at the end of the match, or right at the end of the period, excuse me. And so that would be a 3-0 score in favor of Kelleher over
Tony Ersland says to Kevin Tan, let's talk for a second about that one. Tony Ersland up on his feet.
Bench warning for Nebraska.
Was it? Against good old Tony. We got to know Tony good. He was kind of helping with the club there.
Yep.
Cycling Wrestling Club for a while up at Ames. I know he has relatives in Madrid, Iowa. Tony Ersland was living in Tiger Country, Chad Chris.
Yeah.
It'd be the Madrid Tigers.
Yep. So if we go back to the match that's closest to completing here, with just a few seconds left in the match, Pat Greco from Northwestern University is going to win this one 10-5 over Nick Trimble. So Greco on to the next
Greco
round of
moves
competition.
on for the Wildcats. So he leads, moves on 10-5, and he had about a minute, almost 2 minutes of riding time, a minute and 54 seconds of riding time. So
Pearsall and Gregory's still up 2-1 over Pearsall. It's 57 seconds left in the second period. Both wrestlers on
Pearsall just needs to get shooting, because it just seems like Gregory's doing more shooting than Pearsall.
Gregory took the shot. Pearsall came in on the counter and reshot. Neither wrestler gained control. They went off the mat. The referee brought them back to center, and they're starting from center. 45 seconds left in the second period.
Pearsall needs the score here to keep himself within distance. He's Gregory's unseeded, and Pearsall's the number 4 seed for Penn State. Kalen Cody in his corner for Nebraska, or Indiana, pardon me. You got Dwayne Goldman and the East Lansing Strangler, Nick Simmons.
If we look all the way over on the far side, gentlemen, Preston Kiefer from Indiana is wrestling Ivan Lupinchansky. Lupinchansky from Purdue.
Yeah. And his last match was
Lupinchansky.
That was 35 minutes, I think. Yeah, he is the number 2 seed. Ivan Lupinchansky.
That matched early in the first period, no scope, and Lupinchansky with a 2-point takedown, so 2-0. About 2 minutes left in the first period.
We did the Purdue-Illinois duel last year. Scott and I drove over and spent some time with Lupinchansky, and he's Russian, by the way. That's a Russian name. And boy, he's got a strong dialect when he talks. And he has not done folk style his entire life, so he's one of those kids that started with nothing but freestyle and then came into United States and started his folk style career. So, but he's just a he's a tough kid, but big takedown here against Pearsall. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so Gregory taking down maybe the 4th seed here, possibly. Or
Gregory chooses neutral, though, giving Pearsall that point.
Yeah, so both men on their feet again. Now the score is 4-3 in favor of Gregory. A minute and 42 seconds in the third period. And Gregory
nice shot there again by Gregory on Pearsall.
That was an interesting choice by Gregory there, though, choosing neutral when he's already had a 2-point lead.
Yeah,
it was, Chad Chris.
Well,
must not feel too comfortable on top against Pearsall.
Gregory's got an ankle, and he's going to slip out.
Pearsall, big. Oh, man,
nice
what a move
counter
there at the last second.
So Pearsall now up 5-4 with a minute and 20 seconds left in the
Good mat
third
wrestling.
period.
Right there, big good mat wrestling there for Pearsall. Come out. That's the first lead he's had, I believe.
Yep.
5-4, but it's always, hey, that's okay. If you don't lead to the last few seconds, you win, right? I think
right.
it still counts, right?
As long as you're leading in the last pickup
Yeah.
comes off the clock.
When the whistle blows, if you got more points, you're the victor. So, yep, out of bounds they go down here between Wisconsin and Nebraska. So between Keller and Ridge Kylie from wrestling for Nebraska from Iowa. Is that right? Chad Kriz, I believe.
That is correct.
High school wrestler out of state of
Eagle
Iowa.
Grove.
Eagle Grove up there, just north of good old Fort Dodge. I'm not sure if that's still Webster County or not, but big shot and a takedown there by the Michigan Wolverine.
Yep.
Down there, Cameron Jackson.
Yep, Jackson.
Takes down Rodriguez.
Yep.
So
it's now 9-4 with in the third period, 1:45 seconds.
Cameron Jackson doing a good job. Intentionally releases Stephen Rodriguez of
and
Illinois.
then throws him by with another 2. It's
Nice
11-5 now, 11-6.
I don't know if I've seen a
Jackson
throw by that slick.
Just on a tear.
Oh,
Takes
another
him down
takedown.
again. It's 13-6.
He's on a tear here,
My
13-6.
goodness.
It was just 8-6 not too long ago.
And he releases him again, 13-7. I tell you what, if he wrestled like that the whole match, we wouldn't be here at this point.
Cameron Jackson's on fire, folks. He is really lighting it up
And
now.
there's Pearsall.
Oh, nice.
Pearsall with the win.
Pearsall wins.
5-4, the Penn State wrestler advances.
So he's victorious. Nice defense, though, by Rodriguez, by the way. Just when Jackson was kind of owning him, Rodriguez went in and grabbed the leg, and best defense is offense sometimes. Nice double leg, though. Deep penetration by Jackson of Michigan. Picks up another one. Now 15-7.
And right here in front of us, the clock's starting to wind down on
Keller and Kylie.
Yep. And Kelleher with a solid lead right now. 5-1 with 6 seconds left in the match.
That'd be good for Wisconsin because Kylie really is the 6th-seeded wrestler. So Barry Davis up on his feet and happy. Not sure who the other coach in his corner is. Might be one of the Jordans, I know.
5 seconds left, 2-1, and that's the match.
One of the Jordan brothers.
So Kelleher from...
Wow, big win for Wisconsin.
Oh, and right out the back.
Wow, got the big pin.
Big pin.
A pin and bonus points for an Alton.
Yep.
One of the Altons.
Andrew Alton came out, and in a few seconds, in 16 seconds, he pins Dylan Marriott from Northwestern.
Didn't take long, did it, folks?
We didn't even have time to flip the brackets over yet.
That's right.
Yeah, I know it.
Hadn't even got to that
I haven't
page.
turned the page yet. Jackson, by the way, big win there, 17-8 over Stephen Rodriguez of Illinois. So the Michigan Wolverine Cameron Jackson wins big.
The lone Hawkeye in the consolation round is now stepping on the mat here.
Yeah, that's right. See how he does, huh?
Stepping
Your
in
favorite name?
Jeva. It's Jeva. That's what I was told now.
Jeva.
I've only been told 6 different things today.
Yeah.
So
just after you said, just remember, Steve, it's like coffee, Java.
yeah.
But
But then they told me it was Jeva.
If there was a multiple choice on which one, how do you think this is pronounced, that would not be one I would pick.
Yeah, Java. Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't want to be named after a cup of coffee.
So we've got one match that's underway right now, and that's the Lupinchansky match. Lupinchansky with a dominating lead, 12-2.
Wrestling like the number 2 seed now, isn't he?
Yep, absolutely. And that match is, I think, done. No,
20
this is start,
yeah,
no,
just
start of the third period. So,
yeah. A lot of points, though. 12-2, 10-point lead for Lupinchansky. Ivan Lupinchansky, who actually just maybe took down. No, boy, I tell you, with Lupinchansky, it's not over till it's over.
Yep.
Have you been watching him, Chad? I mean, he just can. He's real unorthodox, I think is how I describe him. He's got some funk and some unorthodox.
Reminds me a lot of Alan Galagayev.
Yep.
Yeah, he does.
Well, that would make some sense.
Walks slow back to the
Both
center of the
coming from the
mat.
Russian,
Just
yeah.
looks real lackadaisical on the mat, but you can't sleep on him.
Yeah,
No,
boy,
he'll
that's for
surprise
sure.
you. Yeah.
So we've got several other matches just getting underway. Down here on mat number 4, we've got Calvin York from Wisconsin versus Taylor Walsh from Indiana. That score is 0-0. Across the way, we've got Colin Zirup from Michigan versus Ryan Watts from Michigan State. That's also 0-0, just underway. And right in front of us,
Caleb Irvin.
Yeah,
Illinois.
Caleb Irvin, Illinois, and
What pronunciation you want to go with?
Jeva. I'm going to go with Jeva,
Jeva.
and I'm going to stick to that tonight. And that match has not started yet. Wrestlers wandering around as the scorer's table tries to get something sorted out.
I'm not sure how you spell that phonetically.
Yeah.
Jeva, you know.
Yeah. And Lupenchansky now up 16-4, 37 seconds.
And you know what's amazing? He gives up his legs almost all the time. I mean, isn't it bizarre? He gives his leg up intentionally. I haven't seen that since Pete Gallia.
Yep.
Or Gallia, I guess. Gallia.
Yeah.
Pete Gallia. Remember how he would do that?
He'd
Pete
come
would
out, put his leg up, and wait for the other
touch my leg, and I'll show you what happened. A 4-time Big 12 champ and one of the all-time greats. He was.
I remember there
tough on top.
There was an inter-squad match at Iowa State back in the day, and I can't
Him and
remember
Kelly Ward.
Kelly Ward. That's exactly.
That was one of the greatest matches ever wrestled.
And Pete would put his leg up in the air, literally. Come on, Kelly, come take it.
And Ward was an NCAA champ.
And Ward would say, "I'm not doing that."
I fell for that last night in practice. Yeah, Pete Gallia.
Got a nice scramble going on here.
Boy, I tell you, it's a gator roll
Jeva
and a
and
shoelace.
Irvin.
Jeba just doing a crazy job here. This is a good one.
Yep.
You know, Irvin had a good match there at the previous match that he had. He wrestled Dylan Ness. Well, he got pinned, but he's the one that put Ness on his back right off the beginning.
And Lupenchansky finally wins that match.
So Lupenchansky is victorious. Spell that out and keep it on your bracket.
I just did. It's
You write small.
So we've got a couple other matches underway here as well in match number 94 here. Ryan Watts with a 2-1 lead over Colin Zerp from Michigan. Watts from Michigan State. And
Jeba has Irwin in trouble.
Wow.
Then Irwin comes out.
Through.
These guys are over here trading ankles.
Boy, I
Looks
tell
like
you
someone's
what,
about to
they
get
are.
takedown.
They just
Absolutely.
shoelace to shoelace. That and some gator roll going on at the same time.
It
So
looked like Jeva was almost going to get the bottom leg jerk and some back points there.
yeah,
And then
but nothing going, I guess, for now, huh?
Yep. And Calvin York from Wisconsin up 2-1 over Taylor Walsh over on the other mat. And then 95.
Chepa looks dangerous.
And the other Alton brothers
Penn
out
State,
here across from us, Dylan Alton, he's up 2-0 on Tommy Churchard from Penn.
And we move fast forward because what his brother Andrew did. Andrew Alton got that fast pin, so it's kind of pushed some of this, speeded that up a little bit.
Yep, we're not with no leisurely pace anymore. We're moving now.
Get a pin in there, a quick one, and makes you turn your page. And the other Alton,
he throws him to his back.
Alton has his opponent on his back.
Stick him. He's got it tight. There it is.
Tommy Churchard's in trouble.
Yep, and Dylan Alton
with a big pin.
So as we talked about before the round started.
Wow, 2 pins in a row by each Alton brother.
Absolutely.
That's some nice bonus points for the second place team, Penn State. So
well, that's just it. We talked about how Penn State really had to come out with a house of fire and get some bonus points in this round, and my goodness, they're doing it, Steve.
Chad Kriz, look at this down here.
Both the Alton pins came in a total of 1:13.
A minute 13 seconds.
Well, so the thing is that Dylan, he's kind of lagging behind because it took him almost a minute. You know?
Looks like there's a almost takedown here
Hawk
between
fans
Irvin
want a
and
takedown here with Jeba.
That looked like one of those positions where you wouldn't get mad if they did call it, and you really can't get mad if they don't.
The reason Irwin got away with that, Irvin, is because he had that leg. He still had a hold of that thigh, and his hands were
even behind him, which was kind of surprising, though.
Yeah, well, that's going to work on your rotator cuff there a little bit. He'll feel that tomorrow on his shoulders.
So we start that match actually going into the second period, 0-0 still. You wouldn't have guessed that if you
never
didn't see
know.
the
That's
score
right,
clock.
Chad Chris. You talk about some scrambling that first period. That thing was great.
The Hawkeye chooses down here to start the second.
Yeah, Chebwa.
Warning on Irving.
I think I'm going to pronounce his W, Chebwa. I've never seen a W that deep in a name be silent, so Chebwa. Chebwa's up on his feet now, trying to turn into Irvin. Irvin could get called for stalling. Chebwa, oh man, he almost had the arm locked up, but these two guys are very
These guys are battling.
scramblability, man.
They're
talking
battling.
and it's so much scrambling going on.
Yep. And it looks like they're in a similar position there.
Oh,
got
he
him
has
on his
Irwin
back.
in trouble again.
But
Jebba needs to capitalize on that, really. Both Brands boys in the corner. There he is with that thigh lock again.
Mark Perry used to do something similar to that. I wonder if that got passed down.
I don't know. It could be, huh?
And this is a position where they're going to want him to kick and turn.
Because he didn't turn into his opponent. So.
And Irving was just kind of hanging on down there. And that's, you got to give it to Jebba for trying to create a position to score, but he also did eat up 50 seconds of riding time.
Yeah, I mean, Irvin doing a good job staying in this thing, because more times than not, you think Jebwug is going to get the takedown. I mean, he's been in the favorite scoring positions here.
Yep.
In this what I call scramble fest.
Irving did get dinged for stalling there, and he is riding a high thigh figure four pretty tight right now.
Yeah, that can be. For a while, they were calling figure fours fast for stalling, because I used to go into figure four every once in a while on top, just to kind of eat up some time.
Oh,
and I
come
remember
on, I can't believe that,
working
Steve.
on the old figure four a few times.
And here these two are rolling around again.
You were in command if you could get the figure four on the head, but if you're getting it on the thigh, you're stalling. Usually in the head, you're pinning your guy.
Yeah.
You figure four in his head. So, boy, bent leg here now. He's really jamming this leg up, tied against Chebwa.
But with all this excitement and all this action going on.
Look at the riding time now.
There's still a score of 0-0 in this match. So
we need to take it around the horn, but this one's gaining our attention just because it's so
that's just
action-packed.
Irvin with 1 minute and 53 seconds, he's going to ride him out the entire second period.
That's freshman for you. They say, maybe right at the end, Chebwa trying to get the reversal.
Doesn't get it done. So let's go around the horn real quick. So over here we've got a 5-2 lead for Ryan Watts. Watts from Michigan State over Colin Zerp from Michigan.
Okay.
5-3 now. Just got the escape. Okay. And over on this side we've got Calvin York. We've got Taylor Walsh from Indiana now on top. On top of Calvin York from Wisconsin. Walsh with a 4-2 lead with 52 seconds left in that match. And on the far side in match number 1.
That would be Cody Yon, it looks like.
Yeah, you are correct. It's Cody Yon versus Frank Cousins of Wisconsin. 0-0 early in the first period.
Got the Battle of Michigan, like you say. You got Michigan against Michigan State, Zerp and Watts.
Look at this position.
Yeah, I know. I tell you, it's just entertaining because of some of the situations they get in down here. My gosh.
Yeah. The Hawkeye fans don't like it because they were tied up in a pretzel, but Jebwa had his leg.
These guys are going to need some physical therapy when this thing's done.
You guys have been trading ankles for the last 5 minutes.
That's a good one. I like that one, Chad Chris. I listened and learned. You taught me. They have it. It's a good title, Trading Ankles, because it's like ankle fest. They're all just grabbing a hold of shoes and rolling.
Yeah, grabbing
basically.
Hold of shoes and rolling. I love it.
I mean, that's what it's up to right now. And
I think
on top,
looks like Jebba's probably going to try to ride out.
Him. He's getting too high, though.
Yep. And Irving still does have 1 minute 21 of riding time, though, so the score technically is 2-0.
Yeah, so it's technically a 2-0 match, exactly.
And we get the Iowa Hawkeyes cheering right around us, then directly across is the Fighting Illini fans. And
yep. So that match did end down here, and Taylor Walsh from Indiana advances with a
okay. So Hoosier moves on down there for Coach Dwayne Goldman and company. Joe LeBlanc and Nick Simmons is their wrestling coach down there.
And there's a lot of Penn State fans around us that all have become Illinois fans all of a sudden because of this match.
Yeah, haven't they? Oh, I'm sure they'd like to see
Jebwa.
It's like
he's got a hard crossface, but he's not throwing it hard enough, and I don't think he's going to be able to get the
He's got the grip broke, though. That looks like two.
Irwin trying to grab the head there.
Jebwa with the two.
No, he still hasn't given it to him. No, he waved it off.
Well, no, he's got it right now.
Oh, he did.
He's just saying he doesn't have his shoulders to the match. Jebba's trying to turn him, but he's saying, and now he calls a stalemate.
Oh, man, the Illinois fans didn't like that because they felt Irvin might come out of that thing ahead. But
14 seconds left in this match. Jebba with a 2-1 lead.
But the rider
has to ride out for the win because if he lets Irving out, Irving will get the 1 to tie the match and the 1 point riding time.
Chad Kriz, you said it. Yep.
But if Jebba does ride him out, he will win
4
the bout.
seconds, 5 seconds could be the difference maker here because there's a minute, 10 seconds of riding time in favor of the Illinois wrestler who's down and 14 seconds to go in the match. So right out here by the Iowa Hawkeye, Chebwa, and he wins the match. Starting the riding time.
And Irving looks like he's scooting his hips. He might get the
gets his hips
reversal.
out. Oh, he gets out.
He gets the one with
1 second of riding time, too.
He's going to win it by riding time.
Oh, my.
1 second of riding time.
1 second of riding time. And the
1 second of riding time, and Irvin wins.
Down.
We got Penn State fans standing and cheering for that.
It's a big win for Illinois. They're cheering, and like you said, Penn State's cheering as well.
Everybody in the arena was cheering except for the
Iowa
Hawkeye fans.
Yeah. So a big win there. A very exciting match. That was just.
It was a very exciting match.
Nobody seemed to really take control of that thing to the closing seconds. So.
Ryan Watts from Michigan State, during all that excitement, did come out with a win over Colin Zirup from Michigan. And 97.
So we got
Do we have
Watts?
97? Oh,
You say Watts did win?
Watts did
or
win.
no, they're the battle of
no, they're done.
Michigan
They're done.
State.
That's a different match, Steve.
Okay.
We moved on.
because there's another Spartan out there.
Yeah. So we got Danny Zilverberg down here in front of
against
us.
Nora
Yep. From Minnesota
Of
versus
Illinois.
Matthew Nora.
of the Illinois Fighting Illini.
Yep. And I got to
We
turn the
got
page.
Zilverberg against Nora.
And we've got Austin Wilson from Nebraska versus Ryan LeBlanc from Indiana.
Okay.
No score in that match. 5-1 lead in that match with LeBlanc on top, 5-1.
LeBlanc leading.
6-1. No, 5-1. I'm sorry. And
Still want to find out if he's related to the one that coaching's there. Coaches Joe LeBlanc,
Yep.
maybe. I don't know for
and
sure. But
Nick Proctor from Michigan State versus Pierce Harger from Northwestern. That match is 0-0 in the first period.
Joe LeBlanc coming from Wyoming to coach for Indiana. And maybe that's one of his relatives or not. Speaking of relatives, it's interesting to see a Zilverberg for Minnesota because I'm just old enough. It was either dad or uncles that wrestled for Minnesota back in the day. There's been some other Zilverbergs wrestle for the Gophers in Minnesota.
So speaking of Minnesota, if we look all the way across the arena at Cody Yon and Frank Cousins from Wisconsin, and Yon up 1-0 in the third period, 30 seconds left in that match. And there's 59 seconds of riding time for Cousins.
So Cousins is just 1 second shy of having the riding
1 second shy. Now both young men are on their feet, 26 seconds left. So any kind of a takedown and 2 ticks of the clock, and now all of a sudden Cousins is back in it. Cousins in on a shot, and Yon backs out. 10 seconds left.
LeBlanc still leading down here 5-1 against Austin Wilson of Nebraska.
Yep. Cousins takes another shot, 3 seconds, 1, and the match is over. So Cody, not Sonny is his brother, Cody Yon from Minnesota, moves on with a 1-0 lead, a 1-0 win over Frank Cousins of Wisconsin.
So the Gopher defeats the Badger down there. And we're going to move on. And Zilverberg did get the initial takedown here over Nora of Illinois. So Zilverberg leads. Nora gets out, so it's now 2-1 in favor of Zilverberg.
I know we did say this off air here in between sessions, but I am glad to see J-Rob at the event.
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah, it is great.
Absolutely.
Yep. One of the all-time great coaches.
Yep. I was happy to see him. I saw him on National Duel, saw him on the coverage, and I think that might have been the first event he came back for. National event anyways, and it was.
I saw a picture of him. Somebody put on the internet of him in his hospital bed, and I thought he'd never walk again because he was cut from above his knee clear down into his calf. And
if you actually check out his blog, he explains all of it, and he's a good guy to follow anyways, just because he's very insightful and that's the type of guy that everybody has respect for.
Yeah, ex-Navy SEAL back in the day, I believe it was, for J-Rob.
You wouldn't want to mess with him.
Well, I haven't met a fan from another team that dislikes the guy, so that says a lot about him.
A lot of mutual respect for Coach Jay Robinson. So been up to Minnesota for how long? I know Wally Johnson was their all-time long coach. That goes back before a lot of people's days, before they ever followed him.
This is a Wally Johnson day for you.
It is. I just like the guy. Went out to eat with him and Lonnie Timmerman, coach for Drake University back in the day when Minnesota used to come down and duel the Bulldogs. So, yeah.
See that, Steve? We're trying to watch two things at once here.
Yeah, we got
we're at the
Big
Ten
Tens and
tournament. We've got the Big 12 tournament on the computer.
So we're watching the Big Tens and live.
We'll try to give you some updates when we get to the championship round there.
And we're streaming the Big 12s on our computer. So
multitasking. That's the problem when they put all these wrestling tournaments all on the same day.
Yeah, Pac-12's 1 week early usually, so helps you keep track of that a little bit. So, but still leading here for Indiana is LeBlanc.
Yeah, for any Iowa State
8-1
fans back in the state of Iowa. So Ryak Finch won 2-1 in his first round in the Big 12 tournament, and then
put him in the finals right away. Correct.
Yep. Yeah, and then John Meeks got beat by Cody Brewer 13-4. So keeping a little bit of information back for those folks back in the state of Iowa.
Yep.
I'm sure we've probably got some Iowans listening to this tonight.
And we welcome everybody else, coast to coast, border to border, and then some. We'll say is what we hope our coverage is here. LeBlanc up 8-2. And Austin Wilson in on a shot here right now.
Absolutely. And one more before I leave the Iowa State note in the Big 12. So Luke Gettle wins, and he moves on to the finals round tonight in the Big 12 tournament, and that gets him a spot in the NCAA tournament.
Against Kindred Maple, as good as we all know Kindred Maple is for the Oklahoma Sooners, Gatto's one of the few guys that can probably say he's actually defeated.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Kindred he might be the only guy.
Yeah. Well, Maple hasn't lost many. He's so fast and quick. Maple's got a lot of arsenal, and so we'll see him in Des Moines for the Oklahoma Sooners. But back here, Austin Wilson from Nebraska did not get a takedown there against LeBlanc. Still 8-2.
Oh, here's the upset of the night, fellas. Max Mayfield from the Iowa State Cyclones beats Nick Lester, ranked number 16 in the country, 4-2 in the first round of the Big 12 tournament.
Good win.
Mayfield on. So
that puts him in the finals, and I believe gives him an automatic spot.
Yeah, should.
In Des Moines.
Yeah, I think the qualifiers were 2 in that week.
Boy, I'm telling you what, Kevin Jackson's got those guys ready to wrestle tonight.
Must have said something.
I think maybe it's a case where they actually had some matches last night, as opposed to the Oklahoma Sooners, who didn't seem to see fit.
Forfeited out.
To put their wrestlers out on the mat. So
West Virginia, would they have 4 or 5 forfeits in one duel? I think we saw the Mountaineers did. So
yeah, West Virginia should have just stayed home.
So let's see here. Match number 99 down here. To my left is Proctor against Harger. Harger wrestling for the Wildcats and Proctor for the Michigan State Spartans. 8-1 is the lead for Harger from Northwestern. So Pierce Harger, the number 6 seed, by the way, against the number 12 seed. I think it was Chad Kriz talking about 65 being seeded from top to bottom.
Yep, 65 and 74.
74, and Harger, by the way, is up by 7 right now. So trying to pick up some bonus points here for the Wildcats. I promise you LeBlanc won. I'm not sure of the score, but LeBlanc moved on. He was up 8-2 last I saw over Austin Wilson of Nebraska. So LeBlanc will move on. He had a fast start and a decent finish there. Silverberg, I believe, still leads this, though, in a Donnybrook, 5-4.
Yep. Really close
Silverberg against
Silverberg against Nora from Illinois.
So that's a good one. There's some more of that. I called it shoelace to shoelace. Yep. Would you call it ankle?
Nora turning.
Trading ankles.
Trading ankles. I like that.
Spins around. I think he's going to get the 2 on Silverberg. Silverberg's still got an ankle, and so they're kind of wild scramble.
I think it must be this mat.
Yeah, I think so,
Maybe it's this mat. Maybe this mat just has some type of scramble aura over it.
Silverberg still got an ankle.
The last match looked a lot like this.
It did.
Nora hanging on. Looks like he's almost got control. Silverberg getting riding time.
He's got Silverberg's arms trapped there.
I think these guys picked up where the last 2 left off. What do you say? Huh?
I think so. Crazy match.
Man,
and there's the final over there on mat number 1, or excuse me, mat number 2.
Northwestern wins that, I believe, right?
Yep. Pierce Harger.
Pierce Harger wins,
10-3.
commanding fashion there. Harger wins. So
Silverberg gets a takedown,
Be
so
Harger
he's
in the
now
block.
up 7-4, and Silverberg also with riding time. 25 seconds left in that match.
third period, 1:23 riding time in favor of Silverberg.
Yep.
But Nora, Nora's a good scrambler. He really makes it dangerous.
Yep.
Does a lot of moving around. I mean,
Yep. 10 seconds left.
and he gets a reversal.
Yep.
7-6.
7-6, but
He's going to run out of
too
time.
much riding time and not enough time.
Yeah, so with the riding time, Silverberg wins 8-6,
8
correct?
to 6, absolutely.
So Minnesota Gopher Silverberg moves on.
And if we look at all the way across the mat, we've got Pat Robinson from Purdue versus Mark Martin from Ohio State. That match is 1-1 in the third period.
How about the Battle of Michigan? Do we know Zurup or Watts?
Watts.
Watts
won that
from the
match.
Spartans beat
Yes.
the Wolverine, okay?
Yes.
Battle of the state of Michigan.
We've got Scott Legal from Wisconsin versus Chad Welch from Purdue down on mat number.
One of the two
4.
Welches here today. There's
Yep.
two Welches wrestling in the tournament.
That match is 0-0 in the first period. And on the other side of the arena, we've got Jordan Wolfert from Michigan State versus Nick Heflin from Ohio State. Heflin up 2-0. Heflin, the number 4 seed in the tournament.
And Martin and Robinson's tied, is that correct, for Ohio State against Purdue? I think they are all tied up 1-1, so 58 seconds to go. That's match number 101, so Purdue and Ohio State Buckeyes. Mark Martin had he's one of the few wrestlers in the tournament that's probably going to be able to say, I was leading David Taylor. Am I right? Did Mark Martin take David Taylor down?
Yeah, he
at the
did
beginning,
at the very
and then-
beginning. Taylor popped right back up.
And then after that, he
2-1.
became an object in Taylor's rearview mirror.
That's correct.
He might be able to say he's the only guy to have a lead on Taylor in March, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you
right.
go.
That's right. That's a good point, Chad.
Might be the last guy until Dake, possibly. We're all looking forward to that possibility, aren't we?
So Nick Heflin, the number 4 seed, with a pin over Jordan Wolfert. Heflin advances.
So Heflin gets the pin and bonus points for Ohio State. So that's a big win for the Buckeyes.
Yep.
Coach Tom Ryan.
Counting down on the far side in that match between.
Yeah, they're going to have a sudden victory. 'Cause I don't
Robinson
think
and
there's
Martin.
there's no riding time. So
And we go on to the sudden victory overtime. Both wrestlers on their feet.
yeah, Ohio State and Purdue. So
Down in front of us, somebody that probably wouldn't expect to see on the backside is Robert Kokish of Nebraska there.
yeah,
The third
Kokish.
seed.
Mm-hmm.
Losing a tough match, though, to Jordan Blanton on the front side. Blanton is just, man,
Blanton's
that guy's
a
been one
stud.
of the
He's
toughest
tough,
Big
yeah.
Ten weights every year.
Yeah,
He's told us how he's had higher seeds at the NCAA tournament than he has at
the Big Ten.
Big Tens, and he's placed higher at the D1
74 is that
NCAA's
stat, yeah.
than he has at Big Tens.
I think he brought that up when he was live in our studio, I
Yep.
think, back in Des Moines.
Oh,
that
and
happens
there-
every year.
There we are on the far
Well,
side.
I'll tell you,
Almost
Purdue
got it. Not
Boilermaker.
quite yet. Not quite yet.
The Purdue Boilermaker Robinson trying to come around there
but
on
Martin's hanging on to that ankle. Time's going to, 22 seconds. We'll have to see. They're in a giant
number.
scramble, and the man who comes out on top is going to win this match.
what do we call that? Ankle exchanging ankles?
And the
Trading
Purdue
ankles.
wrestler trying to turn around, but it looks like Martin's got the advantage
Oh,
now.
he kept his hips
He's got
high.
Oh, and Martin with the win.
Kept his hips high.
9 seconds left in that match. Mark Martin, nice win.
Keeping his hips high. Big win there for Martin, Ohio State. So Ohio State Buckeyes picking up more points.
That's
Well, I'll tell you,
right.
they picked up a lot of points in these. I know they're wrestlebacks, but at the same time, I don't think I'm not sure, but don't quote me on it, but they've lost any. I'm not aware of them in these wrestlebacks. And they picked up bonus points too, so.
2013 Big Ten Wrestling Championships are
So I got a feeling they came in fourth, I believe, right? Correct? Into this round as the
Yes.
I think they
as
were
the
in
team,
fourth. Yep.
place. So
So if we look over here,
okay, now
we've got Chris Held from Michigan versus John Wiskala of Michigan State University. That's in that's on match number 108 over here, gentlemen. Right now, Michigan. So Held from Michigan on top, 2-0.
and Rizgala is the number 4 seed. So gotta believe he's favored, but he's trailing already.
Yep. And we've got Logan Storley from Minnesota, the number 1 seed, versus Lee Munster from Northwestern, the is if this goes true to form, which we don't, obviously we don't know how it's going to finish. But you could have Storley, the number 1 seed, against Heflin, the number 4 seed, in the second round of consolations. How about that?
Guessed it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then if they progress on through the bracket, Kokish, the 3 seed, coming up through the consolations as well.
And that's all because of Mr. Yates. Dan Yates started that fiasco, upsetting Storley, the wrestler from Michigan. Junior, I believe, is junior against the sophomore, and the junior came out on top with Storley going down. Storley came in with 1 loss.
Yep. And down here we've
Gala got the takedown and riding tough, so he's tied it up 2-2.
Got Chad Welch down here from Purdue. He's up 3-1 with a minute left in the match. Welch facing Legal from Wisconsin.
So, boy, I tell you, thanks to Alton's real fast pin, that turns this into page changers, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You get a couple pins in 20 or 15 or 30 seconds. It just kind of speeds up that bracket.
You're just flipping and flipping.
I'm going out on a limb here. Pretty far out on the limb.
Do it, Chad, Chris.
I think that might be the fastest pin we'll see all weekend here.
Be pretty fast.
14, 16 seconds.
Yeah,
what was it?
That's 16. Pretty fast. In fact, that's up there in the record book. I was looking at the record book earlier today. It's amazing what you do in between the rounds.
Yeah, stuff you're reading.
And the fastest fall in all matches was by Bart Chelsvig from Iowa back in 1992. He had a 23-second fall. So
that actually just might have broke the record.
Man's going to be in the record book right there.
Alton's going to be in the book, possibly, unless somebody else does it. And Bart Chelsvig was one of your, what'd you say you coached him in?
I coached Bart Chelsvig in Midget League Baseball in Webster City, Iowa.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bart was a great wrestler for the Hawks, and not only a good athlete, but their high school team either took second or won in football, and he was the quarterback. So I got to believe he was a good thrower, am I right?
Webster City had a really great football team back in his day.
The Lynx. The Lynx, Webster City Lynx.
I think they've since changed the name of the Little League team there at that age group because it might not be politically correct anymore.
Call them the Midget League,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've never heard of it anyways.
It was an interesting league in that it was a town league, and they had 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, and it's just amazing what a difference you see between 7th graders and 9th graders, not just athletically, but also from a maturity standpoint. So
Chelsvig was a good one for Iowa, and he went on to coach with Barry Davis and the Wisconsin Badgers for quite a few years. And I'm not sure if he's retired as a coach or not, but I know he was on the coaching staff for many years.
So there's the end of the match, and Chad Welch from Purdue,
so he is
a 4-1 winner
by 3 points. So Welch moves on.
And right now, Logan Storley and Lee Munster into the second period, 0-0 at the beginning of the second
Munster's
period.
tough. He's one guy could probably frustrate Storley.
And Munster out with the escape, so he takes a 1-0 lead
over the number 1 seed. So Munster looking good there for the Northwestern Wildcats.
And right here in front of us, Robert Kokish from Nebraska with a 10-0 lead over Janie Dale from Indiana. 1 minute left in that match. Kokish on top.
Over 4 minutes of riding time. He's just been a hammer this match.
The number 4 seed, Rizgala, is actually trailing Chris Heald from Michigan. So the battle of the Michigan teams up there, the Wolverine, the unseeded Wolverine, is leading the Spartan there 5-2. And I believe we're in the second period still down there. Pretty sure
we've
some
got
of these score tripods, the third dot, at least maybe it's my eyes. It doesn't seem like
I think it's your eyes,
bright.
Steve.
Yeah, as it used to be.
Yeah. So we've got Ben Cox from Wisconsin and Luke Sheridan down on mat number 4, just getting started in the first few seconds of their match.
And who leads between Cox and Sheridan?
It just got started, 0-0.
Just getting started, yeah. So just on to forefront, match number 106. They go out of bounds there.
Yep, and Dale gets a reversal on Kokish, but Kokish reverses him right back, and the match ends, and Robert Kokish with the win 13-2.
So Kokish moves on. The higher seeded of the two wrestlers, the number 3 seed.
Still a 1-0 match down there on mat number 3. Storley and Munster. Munster up 1-0 with 30 seconds left.
We've watched Munster in the Midlands for quite a while, and he's just strong enough that he could get a little lead here and get you in trouble. He's very physical.
Storley keeps trying to come around Munster, tries to snap him down and come around, but Munster will have nothing of that.
Munster's just strong enough. He could slow a match down and really make it hard for you to win if you get behind, if you're trailing him.
I do believe that Munster is a Chicagoland area native as well, though, too, because would have been 2 years ago at Midlands, him and Blanton faced off, and it was a big deal.
For the battle
over
of
at Welsh
Chicago,
Ryan.
Yeah. Who's going to win the Windy City Showdown, huh?
So we've got an Illinois wrestler, Tony Delago, in front of us right now, wrestling Kyle Mosier. Mosier from Purdue. That match in the early seconds.
Looked like, man, I can't believe Delago didn't get no points off that one situation. He looked like he had Mosier on his back, but that wasn't the case.
We go to the third period with Logan Storley down, Munster on top, and Munster with
reversal.
Storley with a really nice reversal, absolutely.
It's kind of a set-out switch and set-out reversal. Good hips on that.
And you know,
got his hips high and came across, covered, and got the 2-point reversal.
So Storley up 2-1 now.
And Munster did get out fairly quick at the start of the second here, too, so maybe we will see a tied match here again.
Could go back to a tie, but slowly but surely Storley's getting back into it. But
Munster up to his feet.
He's strong. He's got real strong legs.
If he can't get hand control, Storley takes him back down, just sort of bulls him back to the mat.
Storley is really explosive. He hit that reversal
just. Good observation by you, Chad Chris, because he was fast on that, wasn't he? Very explosive.
He blasted out of there.
Shot out of a cannon type of move. And I believe Delgado, did he get taken down by Mosier here, I believe? Delago?
Looks like Delago did give up the takedown, yes.
Yeah, gave up the takedown, so Mosier leads 2-0.
Yep, minute 33 seconds in the first period. Storley and Munster back at it. Munster's got the hands separated, but Storley's got a really tight waist on him. Munster turns, and Storley peels him back off and takes him back to the mat.
Rizgala really having a tough tournament today, being the number 4 seed, trailing an unseeded wrestler here. Rizgala looks tough and strong. He just needs to finish these moves. Boy, he might get the reversal here. He's got to get the leg out here.
Oh, big scramble.
Doing a good job.
Oh, no, the Michigan
he's got
wrestler.
Rizgala in trouble.
Yep, got him on his back.
Good hips here by Hale.
Scramble.
Just when he thought Rizgala was going to get some points here finally. He got caught with a half Nelson or a reverse headlock, basically. It's kind of a combination, half Nelson and reverse headlock all at the same time.
And Munster, right at the 59, right at the 1 minute mark, Munster gets the escape. So it's 2-2. There's 49 seconds of riding time for Storley.
Wow,
so at this point,
Storley, I'm sure Storley would have loved to got over that magic minute there.
Yep. 53 seconds left in the match, 2-2. I'm sure Logan Storley this tournament isn't working out quite like he thought.
No.
We got a blood timeout over there, so got to
Storley,
patch up Storley a little bit. Rizquala just really in a bad spot right now. He's on his back bridging. He's been bridging for quite some time.
Hilds really had him in trouble here for Chris Hild from Michigan. And it's all off that one situation where it looked originally like Rizgala was going to get the points, but he got caught kind of flat-footed there. And that power half to reverse headlock, so.
We're about to start action again with Munster and Storley over here.
Getting restarted and
just under 45 seconds here to go.
Yep. Right here in front of us, getting ready for the second period. Tony Delago from Illinois now up 5-2 over Kyle Mosier from Purdue. Mosier starts the second period on top.
In the far north mat, and there's Sheridan leads 1-0.
Yep. There's the end of the match over between Chris Held and John Rizquala. Held with a nice 8-2 win.
Wow, Held the win.
So the number 4 seed is out of the tournament.
Held wins. Big win there for Chris and the Wolverines.
Absolutely.
and Delgado and
So the clock
Mosier were still.
I'm sorry,
down
Steve.
here. Go ahead.
Clock ticking down the last 10 seconds
Look at
between
that.
Munster and Storley.
All tied up, and Munster's just that strong. If you let him score on you in the first period, he's got the lead. He's going to make it tough for you.
Yep. So we're going to go to sudden victory down here on mat number 3. The number 1 seed, Logan Storley, fighting for his life on the backside of the
He's got
consolation.
real strong
They're both
legs.
0-1 on the day here.
Yep.
Yeah, they really
Looking
are.
for their first
It would
win.
be something to see Storley go out,
Probably wouldn't be the first time that happened.
That would not
No.
be a good thing for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, I can assure you that, gentlemen.
Guarantee you they're expecting Logan Storley to come out. Well, I was talking about the 2 Logans on the trip over here from Iowa, Logan Stieber and Logan Storley, but
Yep.
Storley Logan has really had a tough go at it.
Yep.
Stieber's been on fire as expected.
We
Sheridan,
have
I believe, still leads Cox over here, I'm pretty sure. Sheridan from Indiana, 1-0. Is that correct?
That is
Cox
correct.
Is from Wisconsin.
Yep, and over on the far mat, we've got Jacob Berkowitz from Northwestern versus C.J. Mangrum from Ohio State. That's a 0-0 score early in the first period.
I think he's related to Michael Mangrum.
I don't know. Could be.
Oregon State Beavers.
15 seconds here between Munster and Storley. Chances are we're probably going to go into the rideouts.
Oh, Munster with a nice shot, but right on the edge of the mat. Storley sort of counters him. Good thing they were going off the mat.
5 seconds left here to start the sudden victory.
Mangrum does get the first takedown there for Ohio State, so now leading is 2-0. And Sheridan Cox still wrapped up in a blood timeout. Is that correct?
So,
Mat number 4.
yes. And so the Storley-Munster match comes down.
It's going to slow up our pace here a little bit of the tournament.
So we're going to go to the turnbacks, the first 30-second ride out. We have Munster on top. Storley immediately stands to his feet, turns. Munster drops to an ankle. Storley gets away. So 7 seconds of riding time for Munster.
We talked about his explosiveness earlier.
Yeah, that would be the top seed, Logan Storley, going against Lee Munster, the 7th seed in the first round of consolations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sheridan and Cox, they got, I believe the blood timeout was for Cox of Wisconsin, so we got a restart here. Ben Cox needs to really get a takedown here to get into this match. It's 1-0 and not a lot of scoring going on.
First 30 seconds is up here. Lee Munster is going to choose down. Going to go into the second ride out here.
Mangrum still leading down there for Ohio State against Berkowitz. How about Storley and Munster? What do we got, Chad?
Munster's up on his feet here. We'll see if he can get out. Storley rode him out for a bit there, that third period there. Munster was on his feet.
Throwback.
Storley's just kind of hanging on, it looks like.
Nice trip from behind, just keeping his waist.
10 seconds left. Munster's going to have to get in gear here. Storley hanging on, and they go off the edge of the mat, but Munster's still got his feet in. That's a bad sign for Storley, or for Munster.
Yeah, good hips there by Storley, just when he thought Munster was going to.
And that's smart mat wrestling there by Storley, too, because he was kind of dragging his feet. And
right.
Oh, and there's a
pin
fall
here.
over
Did
here.
Mosier get pinned?
Yeah, and he is not happy.
Delago
with
the
a
pin
fall.
for Illinois, so win for Delago and some bonus points.
And there's a match.
Mosier not liking that, so
Storley wins 3-2, rides Lee Munster out the whole third period.
So number 1 seed.
Second.
They're back in 174 pounds. Storley wins. The number 1 seed. So big win there for Minnesota. Probably not about what they expected, but they'll take a win, obviously. Sheridan still leading down here against Cox.
Yeah, 1-0 in the third period.
15 seconds to go. Cox just having a hard time penetrating the defense of Sheridan, but there finally he gets in on his leg. 3, 2, 1, big sprawl there by Sheridan, and it saves him. So Sheridan is victorious. So the Indiana Hoosier moves on, and a big win there for Coach Dwayne Goldman. Luke Sheridan moves on. He'll be taking on Delago. Tony Delago is victorious, and let's see down here. We still have Mangrum, Ohio State leading Berkowitz of Northwestern. A minute and 11 seconds to go in the second period. Big takedown here on mat number
1. We got another battle of the mittens here. Michigan State and Michigan.
Spartans and Wolverines have really been going after each other, haven't they, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure for both coaches and a lot of fans' sake, they wish it was in the championship side of the bracket, not the consolation.
Backs, but still, these kids could end up in third. I mean, they're fighting. Their goal is third or fifth, I'm sure. So Huntley is going to be red, and Jones will be green. Logan Jones for Michigan State Spartans, and Max Huntley for the Michigan Wolverines. 3-3 already in that one, so big throw down on match number 111. Atwood, Purdue against Kolb of Nebraska. Nebraska's got red anklet, and
Atwood on top.
Be the green.
Yep, Atwood on top, 2-0.
Almost took Kolb to his back, but Kolb real wisely bailed out, went to his stomach, and didn't give up any back point situations there for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Mario Gonzalez, by the way, in this round ended up advancing in a bye. So Mario Gonzalez moves on.
Steve, that match is 3-2.
Okay, on the Big 12.
For Graham.
Go ahead, give him the update.
So Bobby Graham wrestling Mike Moreno now at 165 pounds in the Big 12.
Down in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Graham up 3-2 in the third period.
Well, I tell you, the Wolverine takes down the Spartan here in Champaign, Illinois.
Graham in for the takedown, so he's going to win this one in the third period, 5-2.
After Moreno defeated Caldwell yesterday.
Absolutely.
So 65's tough in the Big 12.
Yep.
It's here, too, like Chad Chris says, 65 and 74 here.
Yeah, 65's got 3 spots, automatic qualifiers in the Big 12, so Moreno will be able to beat the man from West Virginia, I think, for that third qualifier spot.
Michigan riding tough here. That would be Atwood.
Yep. So back to live action, huh? Michigan.
Or Huntley, pardon me. Max Huntley riding tough. 5-3 is his lead. 30 seconds of riding time. Just about the end of the first period. 8 points scored total here.
Yeah, and on the far side, Jackson Hine from Wisconsin ahead of Alex Polizzi. I think that's how you pronounce it, from
Polizzi.
Northwestern.
Alex
that match
Hine
just going into the second period. Alex Hine is red. Polizzi is green.
Okay.
2-1 in favor of Hine.
Jeff, you did say that Mario Gonzalez did advance in a bye. He'd be the only wrestler in this round to do that.
Yep.
Because from the looks of it, Indiana does not have a 197-pounder, which, and just from skimming over the brackets, that might be the only weight that doesn't have 12 guys in it.
Some type of representative, representation.
Probably didn't make weight today, huh?
What are you weighing, Chad?
So a bye versus a bye.
How fast could Chad Kriz enroll?
I probably have to get on the treadmill.
We had a bye versus a bye in the pigtails, and the bye won.
Yeah, that's right. So there you go.
Okay.
All right, so 109, match 109. I got to go back a page. So right now, C.J. Mangrum up 8-3 over Berkowitz from Northwestern. That match, 47 seconds left in the final period.
I have been corrected, too. It does look like at 149 there is only 11 guys. Would be Wisconsin, which is why we did not see Eric Grajales, the top seed who lost first round.
Exactly.
I did not see him this round.
All right.
Exactly.
So thanks to all those who keep us on the straight and narrow here.
Polizzi and Hine tied up there. Northwestern, Wisconsin, 2-2. 51 seconds going second period.
Clock winding down here in the third period for C.J. Mangrum. Mangrum up 8-3 with 17 seconds left. Both men in a scramble. Berkowitz trying for a takedown. Mangrum just trying to fight him off at this point. Isn't going to matter.
So we're almost done with the 184-pound match. This will be the last one at 184.
And Mangrum's going to, with riding time, Mangrum with a 9-3 win over Berkowitz.
Buckeyes gets another win there for Coach.
Ohio State's had a really nice consolation round.
They've won a lot of matches in the consolations. I guarantee you they've been collecting a lot of points, so it's got to help. You're not going to get as many points as far as the high numbers, but as the championship round.
We got a pretty interesting match going over here, about 110. Be Alex Polizzi and
4-4.
Jackson Helen. 4-4.
Yep. I think Hine led most of the way, and then Polizzi came back. So
I think it's the beginning of the third period, 4-4.
Polizzi starts on
they
top.
They traded
Hine
a couple reversals to end the second.
Cross-body ride here by Polizzi. Hine up on the kind of in his tripod situation. Sometimes they call that potentially dangerous. Getting a little high, though. You'd like to shake him off once you're there, Chad Kriz, but we're going to have a restart here. Stalemate.
So we're into the big heavyweights down here on mat number.
Yeah, Jeremy Larson.
2. Yep, Jimmy Larson.
Jimmy Larson. I remember him.
Lawson. There's
Lawson.
no R. Yep.
Awesome.
Kind of from Washington.
Yep.
Jimmy Lawson from Penn State University versus Spencer Johnson from Nebraska. 0-0 first period.
Didn't he run into McMullen, I believe?
Lawson?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Lawson did, yeah. 6-4. He actually kept up with Mike McMullen.
He did.
Jimmy Lawson did. Remember that match, so.
He's given some of those top guys, good matches this year. You know, you see that a lot with heavyweights. They're close scoring bouts, but really he hasn't really been out of any match that he's lost that I've seen so far.
Well, let's see.
And Lawson is a redshirt sophomore. That's what I was in search of, so he's still relatively young.
Yep.
For Penn State.
Down here right
Coach
in front of us.
Sanderson and company.
Max Hunley with an 11-4 lead.
So he's kind of putting that lead out there. The Wolverine is over the Spartan, and seems like as of recent the Wolverines have been
Jimmy Lawson almost with the takedown. I think he's going to come out with a big takedown. Not quite, not yet.
Boy, it looks like it.
Not yet. I think if he can get that arm over across the body, he'll have it.
His opponent doesn't weigh as much as he does.
No, not even
close. If he does get his left arm across the body, that would be a takedown because he does have the head to the side there.
He's Spencer Johnson from Nebraska.
Yep, Spencer Johnson from Nebraska.
He's doing a good job fighting that off.
Yep, doing a good job getting his hips back up.
Because got him higher than his opponent.
Lawson had him really deep, and now Lawson, he's coming out the backside, though. Didn't quite get that leg.
He's got to keep his head high.
Yeah.
Pretty good scramble here for a couple of guys in the heavyweight division.
Probably a total of 500 pounds out there close to it, or wrestling.
So
some big guys out there rolling around.
Stalemate was called by Kevin Tan there.
So, wow.
All right, so we've got 4 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. And 14-4 win for Max Huntley from Michigan.
Wow, Huntley came out on top then big time. He was pretty close there for a while, but Huntley really took it over. So the Michigan Wolverine wins. And Atwood and Kolb.
Atwood's ahead 3-0 with 50 seconds left.
And like I say, Mario Gonzalez, that was a bye. So Polizzi and Hine. Still tied up between Hine and Polizzi.
Minute 17 seconds left in that match.
4-4 is the score. Polizzi and Hine, and 2 point now. Lawson gets the takedown for Penn State.
You want something, Steve?
So, but yeah.
So we've got a 114. Right here in front of us now, we've got Alex White from Purdue versus Adam Chalfant from Indiana. Chalfant just in on a 2-point takedown early in the match.
And he's got the hip control, too. I mean,
time running out down there between Atwood and Kolb.
Atwood and
Looks
Kolb
like Atwood's going to win that one 3-0. Riding time will make it 4-0.
So Purdue gets a win there with Atwood. So Atwood wins. Brandon Atwood for Purdue Boilermakers.
And we've got a 2-1 score now here between Jimmy Lawson and Spencer Johnson. Lawson up 2-1. Both wrestlers on their feet.
Man, Spencer just got face planted.
Johnson comes in on a takedown.
He got face planted.
Yeah.
He got plopped.
Lawson sprawls and just plants him and then spins around for the takedown. So Jimmy Lawson,
call that
4-1.
Heavyweight, maybe the adjective be plopped.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Tan's been involved in more matches today where he had to go look at the clock because he's called something right at the end of the match.
It's tough, man. It is. Kel Sanderson's called Kevin Tan into his corner more than once, hasn't he? And it's Kel says, hey, Kevin, let's talk. So Casey Cunningham also in the corner. They're coaching for Penn State. And Hine does beat Polizzi. So Hine is victorious for Wisconsin. Jackson Hine is. So Hine moves on for Wisconsin in a tight battle. 7-5 was that score. So Wisconsin gets a win there, 7-5 over Polizzi. And
so we got all the
action too.
All the big boys out here now.
We do. This is the big guys here. These guys don't even come to play. This is all serious business once these guys show up. So.
Yep. So Lawson and Johnson, Alex White and Adam Chalfant here in front of us. Chalfant with a 5-0 lead. Chris Lopez and Mike McClure on the far side. And Lopez from
Michigan
Illinois,
State.
McClure from Michigan State, 0-0 there. And Costa Karageorge versus Ben Applin. Karageorge from
physical specimen.
Yep, OSU and Michigan there, 0-0 also.
I remember when he wrestled Matt Gibson from Iowa State, he pinned him, and the WWE, I heard, was there scouting both of them. They liked Matt Gibson's height, and they liked McClure's build, and I read that on a message board. In fact, I found out from some of the WWE guys that we know from the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and they like this McClure. They think he's got the build and the looks for to do maybe some professional wrestling.
Yep. So Spencer Johnson gets out from underneath in the second period, makes that a 4-2 score in favor of Lawson from Penn State.
4-2. Johnson's hanging in there, though, for being the smaller of the two. I'm going to say 270 against 215, maybe, as far as the pounds go.
That's a 1-0 score.
Favor the Mountaineer.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to keep track of some of the Big 12 action as well around the country. A lot of great wrestling going on across this country. Just trying to find out who's going to end up in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier today out in the
arena.
EWL. And
EWL.
Carl Adams with the Boston Terriers.
Yeah.
5 guys in the finals. 5 guys in the finals. So good job out of Carl Adams and the Terriers.
They're heavyweight even qualified.
Absolutely. So
Terriers are tearing it up back out there for the Boston Terriers.
And there Jimmy Lawson with a nice takedown. Takes a 6-2 lead over Spencer Johnson from Nebraska. You know, one of the things we've tried to do today is to bring you up to speed on some of the other things around the country, and tomorrow we'll be able to recap a few things. A lot of these tournaments are one-day tournaments, so we'll be able to talk about who the NCAA qualifiers are from those tournaments tomorrow. And we'll bring you up to speed during the consolation rounds tomorrow morning.
It's Applin trying to go for a big throw, and he got thrown. I was telling earlier that we saw Michigan Wolverine Applin getting thrown to his back and was pinned for over a minute, and it was your good friend there, Chad Kriz, that did that at the Midlands. Remember Eric Thompson?
Oh, yeah.
Took Applin down. His problem was he was out of bounds.
Yeah, and he had him on his back for quite some time.
About a minute or two, over a minute, he had Applin from Michigan pinned, but problem is you don't get the pin if your opponent's. He kept trying to scoot him back, and he ran out of time.
Couldn't even get back points because he couldn't get one shoulder in bounds.
So what's Eric Thompson do? He just runs out and wins the NAIA national title with a pin.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
The Grandview Vikings, Chad Kriz's alma mater.
For all you MMA fans out there, I just saw Clay Guida roaming the hallways here, UFC legend. He's based out of Illinois. Probably not too surprising to see him walking around here. It's hard to miss, though, with that big mop on his head.
Yeah, another good MMA guy and a wrestler. I watched him wrestle in the Midlands, actually. It was Matt Hughes, the farmer. Used to wrestle for Eastern Illinois back in the day. I remember calling his matches when he was in college.
Yep.
At the Welsh Ryan Arena. Went on and won some titles. Wrestlers doesn't surprise us.
Yep.
They're great MMA guys.
So right at the start of the third period.
Wow, another 2 points.
Yep. And Jimmy Lawson with a reversal makes that score 8-4 with 1 minute and 48 seconds left in the match. Looks like Purdue's going to advance another one. Purdue.
I'll tell you what.
Penn State will advance another one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This number 11 seed Lopez, filling in for Walker from Illinois, is giving the number 5 seed, Mike McClure, everything he can handle down there. They're tied up 0-0. He just picked up McClure. He had him in the same situation a minute ago and threw him into his coaches. This Lopez is really looking strong.
So for the Iowa State
far.
fans out there, Tanner Weatherman with a 3-1 win in his match over Sheffield from West Virginia in the Big 12.
Weatherman's good as long as he attacks. He's got to turn on his offense. When he turns his offense on, he's tough. But
I assume that'll probably put him in the finals against Chianoma.
Chianoma
From Oklahoma State.
Nope. Chianoma's a 1 weight
Oh,
class
84.
up.
Yep,
Yeah,
you're right
he's up
there.
to 84,
I stand
so-
corrected.
Yep.
Chianoma did win an NAIA title at 174
sure did.
a couple
being
years
an
ago,
NAIA
which is why
buff that you are.
that's in my head like that.
You know,
Chianoma, yep.
the Sooners the Cowboys from Oklahoma State, they've got quite a pipeline of wrestlers coming out of NAIA
They
and
do.
Division
Yep.
III into their system.
Yes, they do. They're not afraid to take them on, and they
believe-
do a good job too.
I believe
to
their
get 'em in
last
system.
NAIA champ they acquired was Jake Diefenbach,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yep.
Yep,
Ended up getting on the All-American stand for him.
Yep. Oh, Lawson almost had a back points, guys. So, but
So in one of the other matches right in front of us here, Adam Chalfant with an 8-2 lead over over Alex White. Adam Chalfant over Alex White, 8-2. 33 seconds left in that match.
wow,
8-3 now.
You might have heard the riot starter in the background of our microphones
Yeah,
there.
there you
Had
go.
the crowd
Scotty
pumping up for
Tuati.
something.
we call him. His nickname is Riot Starter.
Yeah.
He stirs the pot every once in a while, too. He can get. Well, he says wrestlers wrestle good when you cause a little friction between them. You got to give them some extra incentive to really go after each other.
Looks like Lawson's got a cradle locked up here, looking for back points.
Up.
Gonna be short time though. Probably not gonna get the fall.
Nope.
Did secure the major though.
Yep. 13-5, major decision for Jimmy Lawson.
Good-looking sophomore there, Lawson is. He's just a sophomore, redshirt sophomore for Penn State. So
And Chalfant
he's gonna
from
move on.
Indiana with a big 12-3 win over Alex White from Purdue.
yeah, so Chalfant beats White, Alex White, like you say, at Purdue. So Chalfant and Lawson showdown. That'll be fun. I think that'll be a good heavyweight match.
We got our first semifinal up on the mat here. Looks like Matt McDonough and Sean Boyle are checking in, getting ready to compete.
Absolutely.
1 seed versus the 4 seed, Iowa versus Michigan.
And over on the far mat in the third period with 1 minute and 50 seconds left, Mike McClure and Chris Lopez all tied up 1-1.
Maybe you've heard of him, maybe you haven't, but I see Dan Gable to my left up here. I got a feeling some people have heard of Mr. Gable. Or as some Hawkeye fans called him, Dang Able. Instead of Dan Gable, they just see Dan Able. Dan Gable is Dang Able.
Dang Able, huh?
So, but
He was wearing some, looks like cardinal and blue though, so it's not.
It says wrestling. It just says wrestling.
wrestling on there until you get to his hat.
He's trying to be incognito tonight, I think.
His hat gives it away. So,
I think it's red, white, and blue USA colors. That's what it is.
like you said, we're finishing up. Chad, you want another comment?
Yeah, we
don't
did.
you?
We did go to his house during the Olympic trials in Iowa City,
got
and
some
right
trophies, don't he?
on the front door, right next to the handle, there is a Cyclone Wrestling Club sticker.
Well,
There you
he's a
go.
good man.
So he still is an avid
It's his
supporter.
alma mater.
And you walk in the house, there's a Hawkeye and there's a Cyclone right inside the door. So
So,
he's proud of the school.
Well, that's
Proud
just
of
it.
his alma
He was
mater.
a great coach at the University of Iowa and a great wrestler at Iowa State.
Yep. So a lot of them start at Ames and then go on to do the coaching. So.
Can't take that degree away from him, you know.
That's right. So
We got McDonough and Boyle here into the first period. About 40 seconds in, still tied at 0 on their feet. You guys did say that McDonough looked a little sluggish in that first period.
yeah,
that
he
first
did.
round.
He did 5-4. He came out, and then his wrestler that he lost to or won over a 1-pointer got beat out of his last match. So
We got Thorne and Eppert out here in the consolation.
Yeah.
Second round of the consolations.
And still, McClure still leads Lopez now 3-2, but Lopez has kept this thing tight with this Michael McClure. It just looks like, I got to believe he's a power lifter. When he's not wrestling, I got to believe he's in the weight room. I mean, he's a beast.
And Ben Applin with a 7-0 win
7-0,
over
so
Costa Karageorge from Ohio State. So that might be one of the first Ohio State wrestlers go down
Applin
here.
wins, and that just makes Eric Thompson look that much better, doesn't it?
Sure does. And we got 125-pound consolation matches going on the side mats here.
Right, yeah, second round, yep.
So we've got McClure with the win at heavyweight, the final win.
And Matt McDonough.
Yep. That sets the stage
McClure
for
wins, so now we'll head into the semis.
Delgado and Megaludis at 125
I think the semis will be right down the middle, won't they?
That would, yep, they're going to keep on the center mat, it looks like.
I think the Big 12s, maybe Boaz Baird scores a fall, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Iowa State, so.
Yeah,
McDonough and Boyle are still tied at 0. A minute left in the first period here, knotted up in the neutral position. And then Jesse Delgado is going to be going on against Nico Megaludis here.
Okay.
The other semifinal, that's the 2 versus the 3 seed.
Yep.
That's going to be fun, Delgado and Megaludis.
So as Chad indicated here, we've got the two championship matches right straight in front of us, and then out in each wing we've got the consolation. So we're going to focus most of the attention on the championship matches, obviously. But
to keep track of our brackets, we probably better keep track of this too.
We'll try to look at the side
matches. We get a
well.
printout. So I've done enough tournaments to know you don't want to ignore that, or when you come back to it later, you won't know where you're at.
Yeah,
Steve Foster called this earlier, that mat right in front of us. There's a lot of ankles going on.
It's starting up again.
Look at the pin.
He's got him
He got the pin.
Oh, my goodness. Boyle in a scramble on his back.
Matt McDonough gets the win and the pin. So
the Hawkeyes are on their feet.
Some bonus points there for the Iowa Hawkeyes and Matt McDonough.
Those are points most fans probably weren't expecting to see there.
No, not at all. And quite honestly, it was a total scramble match that McDonough came out on top and really didn't even have control when he pinned him.
It's going to stop the action just long enough to capture that pin.
Boyle had an ankle still, so McDonough just kind of leaned back on him, and Boyle was in a bad spot on his back and got stuck.
McDonough sat right on him and lifted his head off the mat. There wasn't much room for him to go.
By the way, Delgado gets first takedown there against Megaludis, so
leading 2-0 with a minute 40 left in that period over there.
You can tell when he's scoring because the Fighting Illini blue and orange are directly across from us. When we hear them cheer, we know that he's scoring, and when we hear a lot of noise right around us, we'll know that Megaludis is scoring.
With that fall from McDonough, that sets up Logan Stieber here and Jordan Conaway in the semis at 133. That's 1 versus 4. It's right in front of us. Stieber did get the quick takedown, start off the first period.
Yes.
Logan and both Stiebers have been on a tear this year, guys.
Stieber didn't mess around, and now he's got him in a tilt.
He's been on a tear.
And Kevin Tan indicates that he gives him 3 back points, so Stieber now up 5-0.
That's why I've been telling all these people, and they still have to win their matches in order for Ramos and Stieber to have a showdown, but a lot of people are giving it to Ramos already. I said, I wouldn't take that to the bank yet if I was you. Yep. Stieber's a stud, both of them, Logan and Hunter.
Yep.
They're both extremely good.
And you can't leave out Tyler Graff either, because he wrestles Ramos real tough. I feel like Ramos is kind of pulled away a little bit, but there's still, that match can go either way.
And he's a veteran.
Yep.
Graff, he's been around. Seems like he's been around for
Absolutely.
Looks like Stieber's going to get the back points in a fall here.
He's got Conaway in trouble.
Yeah.
This Logan Stieber. Well, you don't win a national title as a freshman by just making weight, so.
No.
He won last year as a freshman.
He's got Conaway all stacked up.
He
is really
tough.
ugly. There's
wow,
the fall.
Stieber's a beast. Logan Stieber's an absolute beast.
Buckeyes come to their feet as they cheer. Stieber gets that first period fall.
They're not only winning both these Stiebers, but think of that bonus points both these brothers score for the Buckeyes. I mean, they score a lot of bonus points.
So let's go back across in the other championship match, and the score is 2-1 in favor of Delgado over Megaludis. Both wrestlers have each other's ankles in a scramble all sprawled out, and that's the end of the first period. So the end of the first period with a 2-1 score in favor of Delgado.
So this mat number 1's had 2 pins in a row. So we're going to scoot right along real fast in this weight class on mat number 1. So 2 pins in a row with Ramos scoring a pin and Logan Stieber scoring a fall.
So we're on 3 different pages at once in the book. That makes it kind of tough, fellas.
We'll see if Hunter Stieber's right here in front of us now, guys.
We go from one Stieber to the next.
Brandon Nilsson from Purdue Boilermaker is his opponent.
Yep, and Stieber with a quick 2-point takedown and Nilsson with a quick escape, and it's 2-1 in favor of Stieber.
Tony Delgado gets an escape and makes it 3-1 now in favor of Delgado over Megaludis for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Yeah, if Megaludis loses this match to Delgado, that's really going to cripple Penn State's
for the team.
Yep, trying to come back. The Iowa Hawkeyes might run away with this darn thing.
Got to believe, though, the upper weights, and I don't like to do this because then it makes me look like I'm showing disrespect to their opponents, but the Penn State Nittany Lions and those upper weights,
yep,
I could still see, even in the semifinals, them picking up some real big bonus points.
They're point getters.
Yeah, they are.
They're just, those guys are the trifecta. All three of those guys are amazing.
Delgado and Megaludis look like they tried to take a shot at the same time.
Yep.
Came close to knocking heads there.
Stieber.
Delgado does still lead 3-1 with 59 seconds of riding time. 50 seconds left here in the second period there between those two.
So Hunter Stieber trying. I tell you, Nilsson's doing a good job of just neutralizing this.
Really slowing the match down there between Hunter and trying to keep it at his pace, not letting Hunter run away with it.
Absolutely. We have a blood timeout over on the far side. Looks like they're taking care of Delgado, getting him plugged up and back to the center. There's a takedown, Steve.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but
I'll tell you what, just wrestling action everywhere, folks. Hey, we do want to make a shout out to the Takedown Wrestling and all of the fine sponsors that sponsor Takedown Wrestling.
Good job
Here. I'll dig the sponsor sheet out here in a little bit, and we'll run down through them because without their generous support, we would not be here for this, and you folks at home would not be listening to us tonight.
Bills to pay when you do this kind of stuff. We've seen a lot of wrestling broadcasts come and go last a year or two, and we've been able to last 16 years because we got all these great sponsors. I mean, we're very, very grateful. We're very thankful for all of them. Jeff Murphy will read them here in a little bit. I know a couple of them is Kimmin, and the other one I think of is Rid-X Termite Pest Control.
Oh, and it looks like Delgado's in really deep on a single. He hasn't quite got the ball.
Nice reaction by Megaludis.
Megaludis right at the end. Time runs out.
You thought Delgado had him dead center.
Yep. So
good reaction time by Megaludis.
We're going to go to the third period over there, and the score is going to be 3-1 in favor of Delgado. And Thorne wins at 125 pounds. So
yeah.
David Thorne on into the next round.
Megaludis is going to start the third period down here on bottom. Delgado does have 59 seconds of riding time, so more than likely he will be locking up that point there.
He should be able to, take it up. Could still be raced, but for the time being, you're right, Chad Chris. He could get over that magic minute here. And there he is. Good observation by you. He's up over a minute now. Delgado is.
And Megaludis is real flexible down here in that bottom position. Kind of gets some splits.
Megaludis
trying to get this reversal. That'd be important.
On an ankle.
Two's twice as many as one, guys.
Delgado's got the whizzer in.
I know you're both math majors, but two is twice as many as one. But
Megaludis gets out
two,
for
he
the
gets
escape.
the one.
Yep.
So 3-2.
3-2, but there's a minute 19 seconds of riding time. So Megaludis takes him down, and effectively it's a tie match unless he can run that riding time.
Yeah, Chad Kriz, you did a good job of pointing that out. That riding time is going to make it a little bit more. He's going to really have to tell Megaludis he's got to pick it up here.
Yep. Steve, you did say two is better than one. I always had a coach tell me it's not that big of a deal if a guy reverses you as long as he can't ride you.
Yeah, there you go.
Then it goes back down to a 1-point deficit.
There you go.
All right, so Nico Trigas from Ohio State wins in the consolation, so moves him forward as well.
Delgado's in deep on a shot here. Looks like he's going to try to come out the back door. He's winning 3-2.
Turn into him. Just 53 seconds to go. And he's right in front of his Illinois Illini fan. So
the minute 19 of
riding
riding
looking
time.
like he was trying to stack Megaludis.
It looks like he's got him stacked right there.
Fall there, maybe.
That's
big takedown for Delgado. So Delgado really on fire here.
Yep, 5-2. I tell you, Delgado, the last two guys to beat Matt McDonough. The last two guys, he's beat him
last
the
two
last
times.
two times.
Yeah.
So,
and McDonough has beaten Delgado as well, so they've exchanged wins and losses. You know who's keeping this close, guys? A Purdue wrestler named Brandon Nilsson here with Hunter Stieber. Look at this Nelson kid. I thought if he could slow this thing down and turn it into a defensive struggle, he could hang tight with him. And it looks like he's getting ready to score. He gets two. You ready for this? 8-7 now.
8-7 with
Hunter Stieber only up by 1. Who would have thought it?
Yep. Winding down the second period. And now
Nelson winding down some riding time here against that Stieber had built up. So.
Yep. And there's the end of the period. So 8-7, Stieber over Nelson. 2 minutes left to go in the match.
And he's the one, Nelson's the one to beat Persall, the number 4 seed Persall.
And
so the Fighting Illini on their feet.
Yep. Jesse Delgado with a big win over Nico Megaludis.
And this is a matchup people have been wanting to see between McDonough and Delgado here.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow morning they will weigh in again, and I believe the finals don't start until 1:30. So McDonough's going to have a little bit longer of a 1 hour weigh-in to recover from that. And
he is, So Graff and Ramos doing the stare down. What's new, huh?
Yeah.
I think they call him the Ram.
Did they call him the Ram?
It looks like a Ram on the line.
Yeah. Well, the Rams are going to headbutt, so he's definitely got the energy and maybe a little bit of favor. But this Tyler Graff is no walk in the park. He's tough. He's a veteran. He's battled against the best of them. I got to believe he's a fifth-year senior here, Graff.
I remember when he won the Midlands as a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
By major decision.
Graff's a stud. I mean. So it doesn't say his year, so the people typing this up was confused too. So I don't feel so bad.
Some of the weights do have years on them and some do not.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
I'm going to say he's a fifth-year senior.
See if we can flip through the book here and figure it out.
I'm not saying it's possible for him to be a junior.
We'll go to the book.
Hunter Stieber, you ready? And Nelson. Look at this, guys. Look at the Boilermaker.
Yeah.
He beat Persall, the number 4 seed.
Yeah.
And now he's showing, guess what? That wasn't a fluke, guys.
Yeah.
I can wrestle. So
8-7.
This Nelson doing good, I'll tell you what.
Been riding Stieber the whole third period. Stieber kind of around.
Exchanging.
Yep.
Kind of shoelace to shoelace, little of that ankle exchanging there going on.
Now here's the deal, fellas. So right now, Nelson's got 32 seconds of riding time. There's 39 seconds in the match. If he would ride Stieber out, he'd tie it up.
That's huge.
This is kind of a do-or-die situation there.
Yeah.
I thought he got too high.
Deep half. Yeah, I did too. I thought Stieber was going to come out of that. Stieber's up in a wizard now.
Yeah, but Nelson's hanging on that leg.
Nelson just keeps it close enough. He likes to wrestle in close quarters there. He doesn't like to give any gap. Look at the leg coming in there by Nelson.
He's
got
got 54 seconds of riding time now.
Look at the riding time. He's almost collected here. Tom Ryan on his feet. Can't believe it.
Tom Ryan's
undefeated, number 1 seeded.
He does have that lower ankle.
7 seconds left. If he rides him for 6,
we're tied up going in sudden victory.
It's going to go to sudden victory.
Big match here for this Brandon Nielsen from the Purdue Boilermakers.
Guys, looking through the book, Tyler Graff is a junior out of Wisconsin.
He's still a junior.
But he did have the Olympic red shirt last year.
And a real red shirt.
He would be a senior this year.
I tell you,
I think he had a real red shirt and Olympic red shirt.
He might have had 2 Olympic red shirts. He's been around so long.
Yeah. So, red shirt.
Oh, Stieber on a takedown early, and Stieber wins that.
Oh, that was fast.
12 seconds into that overtime.
Ooh, man. Well, Nelson's tough. I tell you what, he's going to drop back down here into the... So Hunter Stieber stays undefeated, but he had to work for it, guys.
Yep.
Oh, he did have
Nelson
to work.
made him earn it.
Less than a minute here between Tony Ramos and Tyler Graff over there, 133-pound semifinal.
No score yet, is there?
Yep.
So
still tied at 0.
Sean Nagel from Nebraska with a 3-2 lead over Chris Dardanes from Minnesota down here on mat number 2. There's Dardanes with a takedown, so make that 4-3. Chris Dardanes, 30 seconds left in the second period on that one.
Dardanes brothers are great for the Minnesota Gophers and Coach J-Rob.
In the other consolation match in the second period, we've got Daryl Thomas with a 6-3 lead over Rossi Bruno from Michigan.
Ready? Speaking of Dardanes, we got Nick in the semis here against Matt Ballwig. Minnesota, Iowa.
Yeah,
I think Ballwig won the first one, correct?
Yep.
Dardanes with a pretty decent point spread second one. And now they're going to have to settle it out here. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, bud. Who gets it?
Ramos is going to start the second period on bottom here with the score still tied at 0 against Tyler Graff. He's out, kicking. Looks like he's going to try to get one.
Get the kick out. Graf
doing a good job.
Chasing that ankle really good, and he's slowly working up.
Tyler's a stud. I mean, Graf can wrestle with the best of them.
Graf climbs back on. The Iowa crowd wanted a stalling.
Yeah.
You know, you give that one more second, you might have got one there.
Right.
Ramos out with the escape.
He draws first blood. He's up 1-0. We got two Hawkeyes on opposite mats here wrestling. One against a Wisconsin Badger, Tyler Graf, and the other against Nick Dardanes, one of the two Dardanes brothers for the Minnesota Gophers. And Ballwig and Dardanes are still scoreless.
You talk about brothers. Ballwig did have an older brother at Iowa.
Yeah, he sure did.
He has a younger one still in the system.
Coming up.
And
Yep.
you got two Dardanes there, so.
They went to school where?
Waverly Shell Rock.
That's what I thought. All right. So the sentimental favorite for many Iowans in the Big 12 tournament, Kyvan Gadsden wins his first-round match. Kyvan, a son of Willie Gadsden from up in Waterloo, Iowa.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers go out to Willie.
Absolutely.
He's got his own wrestling match going on there.
Absolutely. So nice win for him, and I'm sure that Willie is extremely proud.
He should be proud, and Kyvan had a real good All-American uncle, too, Charlie. He'd be Willie's brother, and I had the privilege of watching both those wrestle back in the day, and you talk about power and explosion. They both won Midlands before the same year, All-American, and Willie a finalist, and so they're proud of their son. And we got a Hawk and a Badger and a Hawkeye and a Gopher going out down here. Dardanes and Ballwig still scoreless, and
a minute left here in the first period. And then on the other semifinal at 1:33, Ramos is still leading 1-0 with 5 seconds left here in the end of the second. I have a feeling Graf's going to choose down to start the third.
If we take a quick look at the two consolation matches out here right
Thomas,
now.
I think.
We got Dardanes up 6-2 over Nagel from Nebraska. And we got Thomas
maybe.
Up, 8-4 in his match over Bruno from Michigan.
Daryl Thomas is very, very entertaining.
Both those matches with about a minute left in the third period.
Thomas is a blast to watch. He can score points fast and often. So Graf's out, just like Jeff Murphy predicted. Or was that Chad Kriz?
That was Chad. But
Chad Kriz, good job.
Seconds, yep.
1-1.
1-1. So now this will be a really interesting third period.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, Graf keeps circling, Ramos keeps cutting him off.
Do a little Jimmy Hochstrasser quote here. Payback Incorporated. The takedown to win it. So
I do believe their last meeting was a little bit farther of a point spread than their previous meetings were.
In favor of Ramos.
Yeah.
And
the first period comes to an end down here between Ballwig and Dardanes, and 0-0 at the end of the first period. As we go into period number 2, Dardanes takes down and Ballwig on top. So here's the team standings after the consolation round. And they just took it off.
They changed it fast.
Sorry. We'll give them to you here in a minute. I'm sure it'll flash it back.
81 points, Penn State University.
Penn State in third with 81.
In second place with 85 points, Ohio State.
Ohio State in second place with 85.
And in first place with
Hawkeyes.
3 points spread to the University of Iowa.
All right.
So that
after this round, Iowa's going to get a little bit
deep on a shot. Looks like he might finish here. Got Ramos up on one leg. Ramos sits.
Switch out here by Ramos.
Up the corner
here. Hips here.
I don't know. Graf still got that leg.
Tyler Graf needs to hip out of this situation. Looked like he was in control, but good reaction by Ramos.
Ramos is going to score out of this.
Just pure power there by Ramos.
Ramos with the 2-point takedown.
Pure power.
15 seconds left in the match.
Wow.
Up 3-1.
Big takedown there by Ramos. Off a Tyler Graf shot. Tyler Graf initiated that.
That was everything but 2 points right there.
There it is, Tony Ramos.
He was in deep, in on the leg, Chad Kriz. And
that's a big win for Ramos. Puts him in the finals.
Big hips there by Ramos. Just keeping your hips heavy.
So we will see Ramos versus Stieber in the finals.
There you go.
And in our two consolation matches, Chris Dardanes won over Sean Nagel of Nebraska, and Daryl Thomas from Illinois, the victor over Rossi Bruno of Michigan.
So between Logan Stieber and Tony Ramos, I got to ask you, Chad Kriz, how many losses between the two?
Well, Ramos has never beaten Stieber, but between the two,
how about this year?
Season 0, I think.
Good, correct answer.
That wasn't
you win the prize.
Either.
Okay, you get the granola bar. Good job, Chad Kriz, buddy. All right, and Ballweg and Dardane's still battling it out here. Dardane's actually leading 1-0 off that escape. So here we go.
We got the surprise semifinalist over here on mat 3, Paddock from Ohio State.
Yep.
Upsetting Eric Grajales first round.
Against Jake Soufflon from Nebraska. Paddock in on a takedown early. Takes a 2-0 lead.
Boy, Paddock with that big upset win first round, so over Grajales. So Ballweg and Dardane still just tight match here. Dardane's getting Nick Dardane's one of the two Dardane's brothers.
Yep.
I believe his other brother did win, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Just
Chris
shortly
did.
ago. Chris.
So in the consolation matches right now, it's Pat Greco from Northwestern versus Thomas Kelleher from Wisconsin. And on the other side of the arena, we've got Brian Pearsall from Penn State University versus Cameron Jackson. The Pearsall-Jackson match is 4-0 in favor of Jackson. Oh, nice. 4-0, and Jackson in on another takedown, and Pearsall counters him, but Jackson gets the 2, and Jackson takes a 6-4 lead over Pearsall from
That could
Penn
be
State.
fun. That's fireworks blowing off down there. Somebody lit their fuses, man. Donnie Pritzloff up in the corner, and Cody Sanderson in the other corner for Penn State, both on their feet. The Silver Fox, Joe McFarland up, as they call him. I think he said Jimmy Gibbons called him that.
All right, so we're at 1-1 right now down here between Ballweg and Dardane's.
A minute left in that period.
Man, just
Final
exchanging
period.
Minute left in the match. Both men on their feet in the center circle. We'll focus a little bit on that match. So a lot of hand fighting going on.
Just about to the close, so.
Absolutely, a lot of hand fighting going on. No wrestler really with an advantage.
Schuffelon, I think, leads up there 2-1, if I'm correct, over Ian Paddock right now.
No, Paddock leads 2-1 over.
Does he? Okay, he's in the red then.
Yep.
He's in the red. And
I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but I might go on a limb here and say Paddock would be the 11th man this year.
Okay.
There you go. I love that.
Stepping in.
And Ballweg steps in, but he doesn't quite get it nice.
Good hips by Dardane's.
These guys are hitting fakes, and they're hand fighting pretty aggressively.
Yep.
They're not standing around by any
Kind of
means.
a high sprawl there by.
10 seconds left in that match.
Persall gets a takedown now.
Yeah.
That thing's a Donnybrook.
That one's sick.
Dardane's in there deep.
Deep. 5 seconds left.
Doesn't look like he's going to be able to finish it.
He needs to
Can
cross
he finish?
and cover
Can he finish?
it.
Oh, he
Can he get
finishes.
the
He
two?
gets the 2 now. The question is, did he get the 2?
Gets him 2.
Referee calls the 2 right at the end.
Brands
and they're going to go to the TV, I think.
Brands and Ryan Morningstar are saying, no, that's not a takedown, but.
So what do you think,
it's
fellas?
a judgment call. I couldn't see. I was trying to watch the clock at the same time. Well, he had a takedown. I just don't know about the time.
But I think he got it. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think he got it right there. The last tick of the clock was not quite off.
Right.
Kind of could see the clock right in the background.
Schuffelon gets
That's kind of where reaction time gets a little sticky there because if time runs out, the guy doesn't have reaction time as an opportunity.
Yeah,
I think they're going to make it. Yep, they're going to force it into a video review.
So Schuffelon now with a 5-2 lead over Paddock. So maybe Paddock's Cinderella story is starting to fade here a little bit.
Schuffelon got some back points there in his situation too. So Schuffelon really looking good here for Nebraska.
Yeah, and Brian Pearsall from Penn State now says, you know what? I got to get in gear here, and he's ahead 8-6 now with time running down to the end of the first period.
But Jackson trying to get a kick out there, so Pearsall really needs those. Penn State really needs those points from Pearsall.
Absolutely. So a decision has been made here on the mat. The referee trots to the center. No takedown. No takedown.
Luke Becker's on his feet.
We'll go to sudden victory here between Ballweg and Dardane's.
Waved it off. So Dardane's.
That is one nice thing about being able to go do it.
I love the truth. So I don't like to see either wrestler get robbed. You know, it's not fair.
Cradle got Jackson on his back.
Dardane's has already taken 2 shots here in this.
There's a half shot there by Ballweg.
Dardane's in.
Dardane's, but he kind of overcommitted.
Yeah.
Nice reactionary time there by Ballweg.
Ballweg sprawling hard here out of bounds.
And the 2
here we
wrestlers
go, out of bounds, man.
32 seconds left in this first overtime here between Dardane's and Ballweg.
Ardanes and Ballwig.
Oh, and
Ballwig with a little
Pearsall
reach
locks
there.
up the cradle on Jackson down in the consolation matches.
Finishing strong down there for Penn State is Pearsall.
Absolutely, but Jackson
Ardanes
kicks out.
Ballwig in on a leg. He's in there deep on a takedown attempt. He's got him. He's got the takedown. Going to try to pick up some back points or not, but that's a big win for Ballwig.
And the Iowa Hawkeyes are just going to take an insurmountable lead here. They're just
That's huge
on
for
a
Ballwig.
mission.
You can hear the Iowa fans all around us.
Hey, that's a big win, even outside of this tournament, just because those two guys split matches before. Absolutely. They have a lot of common opponents.
They do, and the last win was Dardanes by a good point spread. So
I believe he got majored.
Yeah, maybe 13-3.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I remember reading that one time. I've read a couple scores this year. So.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, I think that the Iowa
How about
Hawkeyes
Schuflon and Paddock?
The Iowa Hawkeyes are on a mission here to take all the excitement out of tomorrow's final.
They are, aren't they? Pearsall trying to pick up some bonus points down here against Jackson, though, Michigan. So
Schuflon now out to 8-3 lead over Ian Paddock.
And Schuflon here still leading Paddock here, 8-3.
Yep, end of the second period.
Into second period, pardon me, heading into the third period here.
Yep.
Let's see who takes down here in third period.
And with
Ohio State, Paddock's going to take down Schuflon on top for Nebraska.
Oh, we got.
Oh, Ness is on his back.
Yep. Dylan Ness on his back
Not
for the
quite.
second time
Ness
today.
is coming out of it though. He's going to come out on top.
Man, he got thrown on his back, and now he gets
and
the
Ness
back points.
flips around. He's
already had a match like this earlier today.
Absolutely.
You guys, do you remember?
Absolutely.
Was it Martin?
Osterman's got a 4-2 lead right now, but Ness is going to get back points. He's going to come out of this 5-4.
Osterman's the one that got locked up in that Lupin-Chansky match.
And Osterman with the reversal.
Big reversal by Osterman.
And so he's now ahead 6-5.
Well, he has knocked off the number 2 seed, Lupin-Chansky, in that Boston Marathon match.
I tell you what.
Osterman did earlier, so he's on a tear.
Osterman's had a lot of wrestling here today.
He has. 11 points scored already, you guys.
Yeah.
2 minutes to go in the first period.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking of a lot of points, that match between Pearsall and Jackson now just started in the third period. Brian Pearsall up 17-7.
Big reversal for Ness.
Now Ness takes a 7-6 lead.
Wow.
You'd think it's the third period here with the amount of rolling around they've already done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right, Jeff Murphy. Pearsall trying to pick up some bonus points there for Penn State.
Yep.
So.
And down on the other side, we've got Greco from Northwestern over Kelleher from Wisconsin. Greco a 4-3 lead with 41 seconds left in that match.
Intentional release here. Schuflon lets Paddock out. So Ian Paddock really, he defeated the number 1 seed. Then, boy, he ran into a buzzsaw here. Schuflon really looking good for Nebraska Cornhuskers.
That's right. Schuflon 10-5 score right now.
Looking tough here. That's at the 149-pound weight class.
Yep.
Ness, is he back on top yet or not? Yeah, with that reversal he
Ness tries to pull him over and tilt him. I thought Osterman was going to slip out of it and get on top, but it didn't happen.
Ness is tough. He's had some back issues this year. I know at the beginning of the year, I think it was, wasn't it? Chad Kriz, he had some injury situations going on there, which
I believe he wrestled a match or two, and then I'm pretty sure he wrestled an All-Star meet.
But Osterman, that was about it. You didn't hear from him for quite a while.
Osterman gets an escape, so it's 7-7 now with 39 seconds left in the first period.
Osterman's a gamer. He's fun. I mean, he's, like I say, he beat the number 2 seed, Ivan Lupin-Chansky.
Wow. Oh, and Purdue. Greco wins. Greco from Northwestern.
Greco wins, wrestling folk style.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I knew
on
Chad
the other
would
side,
appreciate that one.
And the other
I bet
side,
he's heard that joke a couple times.
Yeah, about 100. Pearsall with 6 seconds left in the third period, up 18-9. Also a lot of riding time. 18-11 now.
Oh, and he looks like
But riding time, no back points, so he's going to win that one 19-11. 19-11.
What's our total points there, guys? 30 points?
Yeah. Major decision for Pearsall, though.
The Wolverine did do a good job of trying to erase that,
he did.
major, though. Right
30 points total. Is that our highest match today, maybe? 19-11?
Got to be close.
A lot of points.
I'd say so.
Schuflon moves on. for Nebraska. I think it was 11-5. I'm pretty sure. So Nebraska gets a finalist.
Here's another good semi coming up here between Derek St. John, James Green. St. John of Iowa, the top seed, and James Green of Nebraska, the 4th seed.
Right.
157 pounds.
St. John, I'd say, is a favorite, but Green's a gamer. He's going to bring it. I mean, he's got a lot of arsenal.
I feel like Green has a pretty good workout partner in the Nebraska room, too.
I'm sure he watches film, if not rolls with Jordan Burroughs. So probably pound for pound, I'd say he's probably the best wrestler in the United States of America now. You think that's going out on a limb or not? Jordan Burroughs.
Jordan Burroughs?
For Nebraska.
I wouldn't say you're going out too far on a limb.
Yeah, big limb there, Steve.
Really rolling the dice on that one, wasn't I, guys?
Yeah.
So
big
nothing like playing a safe deck of cards.
Yeah, boy.
Green is deep in on a shot here on the edge of the mat, getting the takedown.
We talked about his speed and his explosiveness, Chad Chris.
And that looked something similar to like Jordan Burroughs would do. Just shot and kept driving.
That's right, man.
He's driving off his knees.
Well, Jordan Burroughs, by the way, for those few that won't know, he's on the club team there in Nebraska, in Lincoln, Nebraska, being a Cornhusker. And I remember his freshman year when they pulled him out, and he took 3rd, I think, in the Big 12s.
Yep. And he did stay on Twitter, I believe it was yesterday or today, that he does plan on coaching after he's done.
I got a feeling he'll get a real nice job. Yeah. I like for the Olympics to stick around for people like Burroughs, because I know he says he wants to beat John Smith's all-time record.
Well, 6 straight, that's hard to do.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but if anybody could do it, he might be the man, maybe. Bruce Baumgartner.
Still down.
Yeah. Bruce Baumgartner won a lot of world medals.
Yep.
So I was just reading his total the other day.
He's the only American to win 4 Olympic medals, too.
It's bizarre.
2 golds, a bronze, and a silver.
He was a specimen at heavyweight. He really was. I've seen him pin and be pinned. Thanks to Lou Bannock.
4 Olympics, that's at least 16 years in the cycle.
That's phenomenal, isn't it?
That's pretty ridiculous.
And he got to carry the flag. I think it was in Sydney,
in Los Angeles.
Was
it?
I think it was Sydney, Australia.
Yeah. Los Angeles would be too early for that.
Yep, so. Well, I'm old enough. I got to watch him and Lou Bannock wrestle back in the day. Chad Chris, I wish you could have seen it. They were too.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
Lou Bannock, Bruce Baumgartner for 2 or 3 years in college. Those were some knockdown dragouts.
St. John was close to scoring. An escape came up to his feet there, and Green knocked him back down as they went out of bounds. So they'll come back down. St. John still trails 2-0, and Green does have, looks like about 50 seconds of riding time there.
And Osterman and Ness still up here 8-7. So Osterman doing a good job. A lot of rolling around. Ness loves to turn these into roll fest, where he just likes to roll people around and then try to catch you. And tough half Nelson here by Dylan Ness.
St. John escapes here, cuts the lead 2-1, and Green does have 1 minute and 2 seconds of riding time there.
Cornell did win their 7th straight EIWA title today with Dake, Bosak, and Garrett all winning titles for the Cornell.
I think Garrett's their 25-pounder, is that right?
Yep.
Don't get that
if I'm not wrong, that's a
Garnett.
record. Yep. If I'm not wrong, that's a record, too, for most consecutive EIWA titles.
For the Cornell Big Red?
For any team, I do believe. 7 straight.
Could be, I know, for EIWA. Yep. Yeah, okay, yeah, because Gable's got the record, I think, for conference.
Yeah.
He never lost a Big Ten championship.
Nope.
The Hawkeyes and Dan Gable. Shouldn't say Gable. He can't wait. He didn't wrestle all weight classes, but the team coached by Dan Gable.
Green's in on another shot. Looks like he might score here on St. John. St. John did good at getting his hips back here.
Well, St. John did beat him earlier this year in Carver Hawkeye Arena.
We've kind of took a step back as we looked around, but this match right here in front of us between Osterman,
this is a blast, yeah. And Ness, and this is a good one.
That's an 8-7.
This Osterman's a gamer.
Osterman takes the lead. Osterman Osterman gets a reversal.
Now what are we
now?
It's 9-9 as we go out of bounds.
Osterman reverses him.
I don't think it was a fluke that he beat Lupinchansky, the number 2 seed.
Riding time in favor of Ness?
In favor of Ness.
Ness was on top for quite a while.
14 seconds, but there's 1 minute and 17 seconds left in this match.
A lot of wrestling left to do.
Tom Minkle in the corner for the Spartan.
Looks like we're going to start the second period here. And
Osterman's match was long. Chad Chris?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. St. John did get the takedown at the end of that period, that first period there. So now he's leading 3-2. And start of the second, I would probably believe that was St. John that chose neutral.
So yeah, he wants the takedown and keep it on his feet, although Green's fast on his feet.
Yep,
so.
Green did ride him pretty tough, though, for over a minute there after that first takedown. So St. John erased the riding time.
Got any Big 12 updates?
Yeah,
what some of the seedings are setting?
All ready for the championship bouts in the Big 12 at 125. Eddie Kamara from from Oklahoma State versus Ryak Finch from Iowa State. At 133, John Morrison from Oklahoma State versus Cody Brewer from OU.
Morrison's real deal. He gave Ramos a 1-point match, by the way. Remember that duel?
At 141, Kendrick Maple from Oklahoma versus Luke Gettle from Iowa State. 149, Jordan Oliver from Oklahoma State versus Max Mayfield versus Chris Chianuma from Oklahoma State. 197, Kyvan Gadsden from from ISU versus Blake Rochelt from OSU. And at 285, Alan Galagaev versus Matt Gibson from Iowa State. So Oklahoma State with 10 men in the finals. Iowa State and Oklahoma split in the other matches. And West Virginia, fire up the bus, boys. We're on our way back to West Virginia.
Time to head out to another time zone.
Yep.
Ness wins 10-9 over a real gamer here, Mr. Osterman from
here's that other
Osterman.
Here's that other
St.
semifinal
John,
we've been
boy, I
looking
tell
forward
ya.
to.
Green was in on a leg for a while, and then, I don't know. It's a good match, huh? Chad Kriz.
Yep. And we got Josh Demas and Jason Welch going on here. The other 157-pound fighter.
Demas has a real dangerous build, I know.
Really interesting.
Demas is long and lean, and he's an long, lean ankle-picking machine, I remember, from his last
James Green
inside
in on another takedown. He's going to get a takedown.
There he goes. He got 2,
left.
takes the lead over St. John. So Green's looking good. I wondered what this neutral site might look like.
Yep. Looks like
Brian Snyder, Mark Manning in the corner.
Green takes the 4-3 lead with 8 seconds left. They come back to start.
I loved watching Brian Snyder wrestle back in the day. He had that three-point stance. He could hydroplane from one side of the mat to the other. Then
his hair was a bit curlier back then, too.
Yeah, he had a little more, like all of us.
Yeah,
But Brian
like
Snyder was just a blast to watch, guys. Yeah, I'd never seen anybody with a three-point stance, and he could just, shoot and just barely be off the mat. Ask Luke Becker what it was like, because him and Luke Becker had some good ones, didn't they?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he received his doctorate last year.
I can believe it. Whatever he puts his mind to, I got a feeling it's going to be successful. St. John up to his feet, trying to get a reversal. He faces Green. Does he get any points or not?
No, he gets no point.
Backus is saying, I want a point for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
And the Hawkeye fans seem to think so, too, but I don't think the referees think so.
I don't know. I didn't see the clock.
For locked hands because Green
I
was
see.
still on bottom with his hands
They
locked.
think maybe his hands were locked, huh? Well, they're going to have to review. Here we go.
But I don't know if they can call that penalty point, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they can review for that. I think they can just review to see if time ran out before something happened.
Yep.
So let's look at the two matches on the
Welch and
Wrestleback. So we've got Lupichansky.
Okay. Number 2 seed.
Yep, from Purdue. He's up 8-0 over Caleb Irvin from Illinois.
The major. He gets a major.
Yep, Lupichansky with the major decision there. So he'll
the number
move
2
on.
seed moves on.
And on the other side, you've got Andrew Alton and Eric Grijalis. Grijalis, the number 1 seed. And right now it is Alton with a 10-6 lead.
Over to the number 1 seed. So Alton trying to score some more points here for Penn State. Make it a tough match for Grijalis.
Yeah. And that match is in the third period with a minute left.
So both Alton
and
brothers.
And the referees go back to the center. They're trying to explain things.
They're trying to explain what's going on. Brands and Backus in the corner over there.
Looks like the score is going to stand at 4-3 here as they start the third.
So there was not an escape or a locking of the hands.
Now they just changed the score to 0-0, so I guess that's probably not right.
Yeah, that was a mistake of pushing of the wrong buttons. Yeah, what you call that.
And St. John will have the choice here to start the third, I do believe.
Demas and Welch are still scoreless, by the way.
I'm not sure where these team standings are exactly, but at this point in the game, Iowa is now up 102 to Ohio State in second place with 85, and Penn State in third place with 81.
Minnesota fourth, 76.5, and then a host team Illinois of 58. Penn State's about ready to score a lot of points, I think. But don't you think? Penn State's getting ready to score a lot of points here.
I think so. They got both the Altons wrestling right now.
Cheering here. I'm not
Taylor
sure
Wright and Ruth coming up.
Both the Alton brothers here.
Get another match from Lawson, too.
Yeah. Jimmy.
Yep.
James.
And
so at the end of the intolerably long first period down here, it's 0-0.
Yeah, between Welch and Demas.
Yeah.
And that
Demas
score
is long and lean.
That seems like that period's lasted about 12 minutes, fellas.
Yeah.
That score does still stand between James Green and Derek St. John.
Yeah,
St. John started the third at the bottom, gets an escape, ties it up at 4-4.
That was probably a good call. I mean, I don't know if he got out, and I didn't see locking hands, but that's
Green does have a minute 5 advantage time, or riding advantage time, and he's deep in on a shot there.
Andrew Alton with the win for Penn State.
Beating the number 1 seed, Grajales, so it's a big win for the Nittany Lions.
And as I expected, Derek St. John's having a hard time getting his reshots on against James Green there, because Green's just so low, and he just keeps going forward. He doesn't back out and give you a chance to get in on his legs.
Real quick.
Slow and extremely quick. Yeah.
He probably matches is superior in speed, I would think, to St. John. But St. John has good range, and he's a Hawk, so he's not going to tire. The lungs won't be a factor. That's illegal, by the way. If you wear the black and gold,
I see.
It's illegal to get tired. So if you're a Hawkeye.
when you're a redshirt freshman for the Hawkeyes, you just expand your lung capacity all year.
Fast, or you quit school. So
St. John's best shot is a reshot, and that's kind of hard to get a reshot when James Green scores on the first attempt every time.
Yeah, that's true. That first initial takedown was so important.
So right now, Green is winning effectively because he's got the riding time. There's a minute or 50 seconds left. Green
stalling against Green.
And he should have got the stall call. He's just fighting and backing up. Green in on a double takedown.
Man, just a blast double.
And St. John tries to spin him over.
That's his reaction. Chad Kriz has been talking about his great reaction to an offensive move.
I don't know. Green looks like he might be in a little bit of, well, maybe not. He gets up to his
keep
knees.
his hips
He's getting
high.
his head up. Looks like
his head and his
St.
hips
John's
to
just
St.
going to
John
back
here to try
out.
to
still tie it up 4-4. That's off of Green's double A shot.
Green's in a good spot. He's got 20 seconds left, and again 4-4, but he's got a minute and 5 riding time. So St. John's got to do something here quickly. And the period is a third. There's 20 seconds left in this match.
He's got to stay busy. He's been warned for stalling.
He's got to, St. John's in tight on a leg, on a single leg, in tight on the edge of the mat.
10 seconds to go. They step out of bounds.
The mat,
his left foot went out of bounds, St. John's. 5 seconds to go.
5 seconds
This is it, guys. This is it. Look at Brands and Backus out there.
We got referees and coaches, and I thought Backus was going to go over and
do a tag
Mark
team.
Manning down or something.
So,
all right, now they're putting time back on the clock. They say there's 7 seconds now.
7 seconds. I thought there's 5. But
and Backus and
Green's tired, guys.
Brown want 10, and Green's got 7
seconds.
Green's
tired. He could get hit for stall.
Yeah, he needs to be careful.
Not wise by him, so pushes him out of bounds, and Green is victorious.
Yeah, St. John's pushes him at the very end out of bounds, and
Mark Manning's calling for a point.
And Green eggs on the fans, the Iowa fans, by giving them a couple of high signs, and St. John's is not happy, and the rest of the crowd is. So Mark Manning and the Nebraska fans are just very happy with that match.
Mark Manning and the Hawkeye fans are talking to each other, doing sign language.
Sign language.
They're doing that sign language. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Even though it's internet radio, I'll be respectfully won't tell you all the details. So there's some sign language
we
going on.
go into the third period in the longest match in the history of college wrestling.
And they're still scoreless.
0-0.
Welch and Demas.
Welch and Demas.
On a big,
nice super duck attempt there, and he's going for the inside
he tried to pull a Demas. Demas is the inside tripper.
Yeah, but Demas fights it off, and they go off the mat.
And I do believe Demas does have 2 minutes of riding time there.
Off the mat for the 400th time.
Big riding time. Welch needs this. Could it be Welch and St. John's for third? Tell me, folks.
We'll find out, won't we?
And could it be Demas and Green for the championship, possibly?
Welch with the body lock. We'll see. Demas trying to
limp
fight
arm him.
Oh, he's got
Welch needs
a
a limp arm. He's got to get that limp arm out of there. Big whizzer there by Demas.
And right on the edge of the mat now. Welch trying to climb over, but Demas has a whizzer.
Tell you
and
what.
the referees call him off the mat. A minute and 24
Man,
seconds
that whizzer
left.
was a lifesaver for Demas.
And we got David Taylor out here on the far mat.
Mr. David Taylor.
Mr. David Taylor versus Nick Moore from Iowa.
So Penn State, Iowa.
Yep, Taylor up 2-0 right off the bat there.
Could you see two Iowa Hawkeyes lose back-to-back on the same mat?
Well,
doesn't happen too often, folks.
I think if there wasn't an out of bounds here on this mat between Demas and Welch, those guys would end up in Ohio by the end of the 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're working their way back to the hotel, I think. And they go out of bounds.
That's why it's lasted so long.
Yep, minute and 10
There's so much
seconds
scrambling.
left.
They end up out of bounds all the time.
Now, it is 2-0, but it is
nice neck wrench
well,
there.
There you go. So Welch now up 2-0.
Demas with a big neck wrench.
Demas,
that was given too soon, maybe.
No, not quite.
A 2-point takedown
so Welch
for
is up 2-0, but there's a minute and 50
time.
seconds of riding time in favor of Demas. So if Demas could get
escape
out.
ties it.
Yep.
All he needs is escape, guys. Mathematically, he could lose riding time, though. They're just right by one another. Yep. Mathematically speaking, they're 2 seconds from each other.
Yep.
137 riding time, 39 seconds. So do your math, and if he rides him out, then he loses. Demas loses his riding time point. So he needs that escape.
Yes, he
to
does.
tie it, a reversal to win it. Or, of course, one of Chad Crizz's favorite way to finish a match, a pin always wins it, right? Chad
Yep.
That's always a good way to finish.
That's always the determining factor.
Yeah. So Welch throws the legs in. He's riding
tough.
Demas tough.
It's a scrambler.
22 seconds left for Demas here.
Demas has just under 15 to get out.
Taylor has Moore stacked up, and Moore's in trouble, guys. David Taylor has Moore in trouble.
That looks like it's going to be a fall.
Man. He's
Wow, Moore sneaks out.
Oh, man. I tell you what.
2-1, and
Taylor's
Jason
right into
Welch.
another tilt.
Saved
The
by
ref's
gonna
swiping
win
again.
this.
And look at the riding time.
Yeah. So Welch 2-0.
2-0 by 1 second of riding time.
Yep.
So Welch moves on. I bet he doesn't even realize he doesn't have St. John in the finals yet, huh?
Yeah, probably not.
Nobody's
He's too busy
told him
worrying
yet.
about what he's doing.
Yeah, say, by the way, you're wrestling Green in the finals
Yeah, well,
tonight,
I tell you
not
what,
St. John.
The way Welch looked there, Greens might have a
upper hand.
heyday with him. Absolutely.
Yeah. Demas hasn't had a bad tournament.
Not at all.
You know, I mean, really, he's number 6 seed, so he's tough.
That'd
like
be
that
interesting
Josh
if him and
Demas.
St. John meet in the third place match.
Yeah, could be fun, you know. Taylor right now, really. What's our score down there, guys? Oh my.
It's 10-0.
Wow, David
Yeah.
Taylor just really putting the hammer to
Nick Moore.
Nick Moore. And Moore had a big win to get in here, correct?
Yep. And another
he
Penn
beat?
State wrestler, Dylan Alton, in the
beat
consolation
Young.
round against Ryan Watts from Michigan State. Alton up 3-2 with a minute left in that match.
So Taylor
I
really
believe we
bringing it
got
on.
Zilverberg down here, Danny Zilverberg.
Did
with
he just take our
He's up 10-7.
10-7?
10
He
to
just got
7
another takedown
in the
for
second
Zilverberg.
period. Yep. Over
Controlling
Walsh.
the ankle is Moore of Taylor, but Taylor's so mat savvy, and Moore gets a reversal, or does he? Nope. Good recovery here by David Taylor. Get the grapevine in off to a
13-0 lead. And that would be the start of the first period. That's just the first period there.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we got
David Taylor's on fire, guys.
Tyler Massa and Conrad Poltz here. Poltz from Illinois. Massa
Bolt's got
from
the first takedown, I believe,
Michigan.
didn't he, Conrad? David Taylor. Did he pin him or
No, fall.
First period, tech fall, 15-0.
Wow. David Taylor. Tech falls Nick Moore in the first period. That's what you call
Big win for
flawless
Penn State.
wrestling, guys.
Down here on the
That
other
was
semi,
flawless.
we do have true freshman Taylor Massa going against Conrad Poles of Illinois.
The
Michigan
only
versus
mistake
Illinois.
I think Taylor made in that match is it took him a little bit longer to get his headgear unsnapped. That's about the only mistake he made.
So Pulse is
That's
up
unreal.
2-0 here in this other semifinal match.
Taylor looked amazing, guys.
2 minutes left in the first period. If we look down here at another match of consequence, it's the other Alton brother, Dylan Alton.
Yeah, right.
He's up 3-2 right now with 12 seconds left in the match.
Over here.
Yep.
Okay.
Both wrestlers will come back to center. They went off the mat. Both wrestlers on their feet. They come back to the center. Referee blows the whistle. 7 seconds. Alton just content to have a front headlock and just sort of stall this one out. 2, 1, and there he moves on. So Penn State with another wrestler advancing in the consolation.
We got Yates and Brown up here. Yep. Yates and Brown. So Brown wanting to throw. Now Yates is strong. He proved that by beating Logan Storley. These two guys are similar built. There's a lot of power wrestling between these two. Some type of measuring instrument we could measure the PSI, pounds per square inch, between these two. It'd be fun. I bet it'd be pegging out because these two guys, in fact, they've already tried to throw one another. Matt Brown and Yates, Dan Yates from Michigan, who upset the number 1 seed, Logan Storley. So.
Yep.
Mesa and Conrad Pulse. Pulse got the initial takedown. Is that correct? And Massa got the escape. So 2-1.
2-1
is our score down here. 36 seconds to go. 33 seconds of riding time.
36 seconds in the first period, Steve.
Yeah, just first period. Yep, to go in the first period.
I got some team scores from the first session of the Big 12 tournament if you guys are interested.
Okay,
give those to us.
Oklahoma State leads that race there at 83 points. Iowa State's in second with 65. Oklahoma's in third with 48. And West Virginia rounds out the 4th spot with 20 points.
All right. So
Cowboys, Cyclones, Sooners, and Mountaineers.
For 4th place, evidently.
I'm not sure.
All right.
I don't know who's in 5th.
Yeah.
That conference needs a couple more teams.
Who's on first? I don't know.
Because I got news for you guys. It wasn't too much longer ago, unless last decade, Big 12 would score more points than the Big 10, and they had less schools.
Yeah.
Because I know my good friend J. Carl Guyman, the walking calculator, used to keep track. And I admit, he bleeds black and orange, being the voice of the Cowboys for so many years. But he used to point that out to me often. Because he had Missouri in there, he had Nebraska in there.
Yep.
Cal was coaching the Cyclones and John Smith, the Cowboys. There's about a half a dozen years there where the Big 12 owned the Nationals, but they've just lost too many teams.
All right, so Danny Silverberg with a 15-10 win. So he'll move on to the next round tomorrow.
Big win there for Mr. Silverberg of the Minnesota Gophers. Brown and Yates still scoreless, guys.
Interesting fact about the Big 10, 7 of last year's NCAA champions
they've dominated.
were from the Big 10.
Right, yep.
And only 2 of those guys graduated, we realized.
That is
Molinaro and Kellen Russell.
Frank the Tank.
And the other 3 guys, the 3 lone champs, not from the Big 10, they're all from the same school.
Cornell, am
Ivy
I right?
Cornell, and Cornell.
Yeah.
And 2 of the 3 of them returned this year.
Yeah, they do. Oh, Matt Brown just got Yates flat on his feet, but the time ran out. So, big shot there by Matt Brown. A little too late. That sent Cale Sanderson up on his feet.
Yep, so we're 0-0 in the going into the second period there between Brown and Yates.
No, recently I was reading a message board. People were talking about accomplishments at different levels and who's done what in wrestling. And this one guy got him all right because he said, actually, I wasn't looking up statistics. I just kept typing in Cale Sanderson's name and it made me look good. So who's done the most this? Who's done the most that? He said, I just type his name in 99% of the time, you're going to be right. So being undefeated and a 4-time national champ, pretty amazing. Now, Kyle Dake from Cornell this year can win at 4 different weights all 4 years, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Even if he doesn't, though, he still is the only wrestler to ever win 3 NCAA titles at 3 different weights.
That's right. Nobody else has done it at 3. Cale did it at 2.
Yep.
Could have Cale beat Mako his senior year?
Mako? Oh, yeah. I think we would have seen Cale foot sweeping the bear.
Yeah. So, for those fans, those fans of wrestling out there in the Big 12 tournament, Eddie Kilmar beats Ryak Finch to take the 125-pound championship.
And there's only one guaranteed allocation, right, for 25 or
that is correct.
Shoe-in for.
That is correct.
So it'd have to get an at-large or RPI for Finch. Brown And Yates, we got an escape by Yates because he started down. But I'll have to tell you, Yates has been backing up more. Brown's been the stalker here.
Yep.
He's been doing the stalking, and Yates is he's not flooring it in reverse, but he's been backing up. Brown's been putting the pressure on Yates. So
Brown looks like he eats his Wheaties every morning.
yeah, I think they both do. Both of them are physical specimens. Brown really, he can push some weights in the weight room, I promise
Well,
you.
last year he was trapped behind.
Oh, look at this.
Oh.
Yates bailed out just in time, guys. He
looked like Brown had the headlock and was going to throw him to his back.
Just as we were commenting on his strength, he gets a takedown by what? A power move.
That's right.
Yeah. Brown last year was stuck behind Taylor, Ruth, and Wright in the lineup there. And I believe a couple times he did step in at 197 and won a match or two.
Yeah, he jumped way up, so it shows what he can do with that power, huh?
Yep, so Brown delivers on that one, huh?
Yeah, Brown delivers just like you know who. Are they official advertiser of this or not? Huh? Just say we appreciate all UPS does for people across around the world, right?
Looks like Taylor Moss is down here 6-1 to Conrad Poles. Is that Poles?
So, yeah.
Yep. It's 2 versus 3 here.
Conrad Poles.
So
wrestler, he put David Taylor, remember, on his back, probably in here.
Yep.
Because it would have been Illinois, Penn State here, I believe. It was a home match, I'm pretty sure, in Champaign at the end. He got 5 points. I don't know if there's been anybody else scored 5-point move on Taylor this year, but Conrad Poles is one of them. So he did it. But
yep. So
Taylor's looking tough, though, guys.
Cody Yan and Mark Martin over here in the consolation round.
Okay.
Into the first period, 0-0. And on the other mat, we've got Ryan LeBlanc from Indiana, Pierce Harger from Northwestern. That one is also
Still
0-0 in
yeah.
the second period.
Yep. So these guys have spent a lot of energy here today at the Assembly Hall, Champaign, Illinois, 2013 Big Ten Wrestling Championships. Myself, Steve Foster, Jeff Murphy, Chad Kriz, helping us out. I've kind of unofficially referred to Chad as the Krizinator.
Hey, anything's better than Chris.
Yeah, you get called that sometimes.
Krizinator.
Krizinator. Rhymes with Terminator.
Sorta.
Brown, nice throw by Brown. But Yates stamped his feet.
Brown,
2 more by Matt Brown. So another takedown there by Matt Brown.
Brown now up 3-1.
5-1. Yep, with that takedown. So 5-1.
In the third period, 1 minute and 17 seconds left, I think.
He's a sledgehammer. He is. He's just he's real tough.
Maybe that's
physically
17
strong.
seconds in the third period. So it looks like Brown's going to win this one.
I just call him a sledgehammer. He just really pounds on people.
So Brown with a 5-1 win.
Matches end at the same time, almost the same score. So Brown wins 5-1, and Conrad Poles wins 7-1. So Penn State gets a win, and Illinois Illini, the Fighting Illini, get a win. So different weight classes, but Brown moves on. So Penn State moves on.
That sets up for Mike Evans here.
Evans against Jordan Blanton. So
Blanton did have a nice 8-2 win over Robert Kokish in the quarterfinal round earlier today.
So we're going to have David Taylor, and they're not booing, folks. They're saying Ruth.
Yep, Ed Ruth.
It's like some of the older Iowa fans used to hear Lou for Lou Bannock.
Ed Ruth versus Ethan Lofthouse from the Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
And on the other mat, we've got Mike Evans for the Hawkeyes versus Jordan Blanton from Illinois.
I'll tell you, the last time the Penn State and Iowa met up on mat number 3, it wasn't very pretty for the Hawkeyes because David Taylor put on a show, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I'm sure Ed Ruth would like to pick up where he left off. Lofthouse real strong. He's real physical. He's kind of been trading varsity spots, though. Is that right, Chad Kriz?
That is true. Him and Gambrill did trade off a little bit there late in the season. And Gambrill did get the nod in the Penn State duel.
Yeah,
and
right.
Surprising to most, I think he only held it off just to a major.
Yeah, that's
Didn't get pinned like most thought would happen.
Lofthouse in on a leg here against Ruth, but Ruth gets it planted back down onto the mat.
Yep, and Blanton in on a single leg, but Evans trying to fight that off right now.
My theory is why they didn't wrestle Lofthouse in the duel against Ruth. It's because Lofthouse is a little bit shorter, so his knee's a little closer to his head.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Trying to keep that away. It's for cradles and It's the ultimate sin, isn't it, wrestling? Keep your knee away from your face.
That's
Especially when Ed Ruth's hands hang below his knees. When he stands up.
Yeah, he's got long arms, doesn't he? He's got a lot of range. He's got a lot of range. Really, the only shot down there's been his loft houses. He's had Ruth's leg in the air, so. Yeah, Raw Ruth in there real quick, just.
Lofthouse tries to plant that foot, but Ruth slides down the leg.
Just quick
He's
as
got him
lightning.
on the lower ankle now.
Man, when he strikes fast.
And he goes to a double leg.
No takedown yet.
Yep,
Lofthouse doing a good job.
Fights it off.
Trying to fight it off. So.
Ruth back down on that low ankle, and Lofthouse putting a lot of weight on him. Ruth plucks the ankle out and picks him up and goes around behind Lofthouse. No takedown yet, but there's a double leg. He's going to
put his hand down. So. Officially, I think you put that hand down, it's a takedown, right? If you're the guy behind Chad Kriz.
That was just workmanlike. Just workmanlike.
If the referee feels you have control anyway. As soon as that wrestler on the bottom tripods, it's a takedown.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, three points on the mat, whether it's your feet and your head
or your hand and 2 feet or 2 hands and a foot or technically it's a takedown. So Ruth gets the takedown, draws first blood here. See if picking up a little riding time. Kind of an unorthodox arrangement.
He's hanging there waiting for a leg to come up.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Lofthouse. He says, I dare you, do something.
Right knee to come up.
You do something, and I'll show you what happens. Kind of like the Pete Gilia.
That's
Galia stuff.
I mean, he's just
grab my leg, and I'll show you what happens.
Lofthouse looks like he's just almost out, and the referee calls a stalemate.
Just really putting the hips in was Ruth. Just kind of pushing against him. You ready, guys? Blanton, Evans, scoreless. All tied up.
0-0.
36 to go in the first period between Blanton of the Illinois Fighting Illini and Evans in there on a shot. They go out of bounds, so Blanton, I'm sure he's got a good workout partner. Mark Perry, Win Mahalik. Mahalik might roll with Blanton maybe. Wynn was a great wrestler back in the day for the Central Michigan Chippewas.
Oh, Ruth
Look at this
got him
suicide cradle.
Oh, but he couldn't quite go over. There he goes again.
Cradle.
Going to pull Lofthouse over with him, and he's got it. Oh, and Lofthouse kicks out.
2. Should be 2.
Yep, it'll be 2, but boy, oh boy.
Chad Kriz called it earlier.
Yep.
Keep your knees in your away from your head. Chad Kriz, you called it.
Yep.
Ruth's a cradling machine, isn't he?
So we go to the second period, and Ed Ruth's up 4-0.
I'll throw another cradle out there that a lot of people, maybe just because the school he's at and what have you, don't know that much about. But one of the other great cradlers this year, Steve Monk.
Yep.
North Dakota State Bison. Have you seen him? Isn't he amazing? Yep. Man, he'll cradle. He's dangerous.
We got a good look at him at
I don't know if he's
Midlands.
Quite as dangerous as Ruth with the cradle, but I don't know. He's up there with them somewhere.
I was going to say,
not far behind him.
Saw him twice this year, but when we went up to South Dakota State, he got a forfeit that night.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yep. The Jackrabbit said, just give him 6.
So Ed Ruth starts out underneath in the second period and gets out with an escape.
And I think you pointed out earlier, Jeff Murphy, Monk's in the finals. Is that right? In his
in the Western,
Bison, in the Western.
Yep. Western Regional.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. Unusual, his philosophy on wrestling. When the season's over, he takes his shoes and his headgear and throws it in his closet. And he says, I don't pick them up again until the first practice of the next season. He said, I throw it in the closet, and that's it.
Call it a day.
Yeah, I think if he wrestled year-round, if he took it serious, huh?
Yeah, he might be pretty good. Still might be pretty good.
Midway through the second period here between Mike Evans and Jordan Blanton, we're still tied 0-0. Blanton is down, and Mike Evans has racked up 40 seconds of riding time here.
Ruth's up 5-0 over Lofthouse of Iowa right now, so I'm sure the Penn State would love to get some bonus points here if he could.
Meets one.
Did he?
Yep.
Wow. Nice.
Mike Evans is riding pretty tough here over Jordan Blanton.
Yeah, he is. He's tough on top.
So team standings don't quite know where they're at, but Penn State now in the lead with 108 points. The Iowa Hawkeyes in second with 102, and Minnesota in third with 87.
And these head-to-heads between Iowa and Penn State are important, guys.
Yep.
Real important.
And on paper, they don't look like they favor Iowa too much.
No, they really don't.
No.
You know, they don't. So
Cale Sanderson's going to get a hold of Ed Ruth and say, speed it up there, Ed.
Yeah.
We need the bonus points.
Yeah, well, they do. So Lofthouse is just strong enough, just burly enough. He's got low center of gravity that
he stays in good
try to
position
slow
too.
it down.
It's 5-0, and the second period comes to an end.
He's got Ruth. He's trying to go the bear hug, but of course, period ran out. I think Ruth realized that. So.
And Lofthouse says, I'm not going to start underneath. I'm going to start on my feet. So
the Evans-Bland match so far has been riding time is the story right now.
Yep. Evans is riding tough. It might riding low on the leg, though.
136 of riding time in favor of Evans.
Cody Jan wins in his consolation match, fellas. Got to go back a few pages to get him.
Well, I tell you, they're really kind of mixing it up down there, Lofthouse. I like what he did there. They were really going after each other, weren't they? A lot of upper body situations there, Chad Chris.
Yeah, and
I saw you kind of chomping at it. It was fun to watch, wasn't it? They both were really. You know what I think made the difference in all that? Ruth's speed.
Oh, get this
I
one,
think
fellas.
Ruth's speed was the difference maker.
Consolation match between LeBlanc from Indiana and Harder from Northwestern. They're down in the last, and the match is over.
1 second of riding time.
The green guy, Harger, is going to win this thing.
Are they going more?
1 second of riding time, I think.
That's, well.
He's going to win it on 1 second of riding time. He's got 1 second. Nope, I'll take that back.
We got another set.
Got another set. All right,
yeah.
I thought the clock had him all the way out, but they don't. All right, so forget that. Back up. We'll bring you back to that one here in a minute. Let's get back
Ruth,
on the
two more
match.
for Ruth.
Mike Evans did ride out Jordan Blanton the entire second period, so he takes a load of riding time into the third and chooses down. Looking for a reversal here.
Yep. So Ed Ruth up 9-1 right now with 1 minute and 29 seconds of riding time.
Second period, guys. Where's it the third?
He just kind of hanging on Lofthouse, waiting for it's the third period.
Third and
waiting
final
on
period.
Lofthouse to kind of raise that knee and come up
Yeah, he is.
try to cradle him.
Yeah, Chad Grizz called it.
Lofthouse
Get your knee up there. He's going to cradle you.
He's kind of waiting for that to
Lofthouse is
come
having
up.
none of it. He's just kind of hovering.
Boy, it's close, though.
Ruth is waiting for it, though.
Yeah.
You can see he's kind of baiting him.
Yeah, well, he's got the major decision, and he's just hanging in there trying to see if he can cradle him up.
It's like putting a carrot out in front of a rabbit.
And Ruth
Mike
wins.
Evans gets the takedown or the reversal.
Major decision by Ruth.
Ruth wins 10-1.
So Ruth with a major. That's big because that's a Penn State Iowa matchup, and Ruth won it and Taylor won it. So he had two Iowa Penn State matchups, and Penn State came out on top.
Yep. So. Early in this day when Iowa was so dominant in the first four matches, looked like Iowa was just going to run away with this thing. But Penn State says, let's just put the brakes on that, fellas.
They're so good at the upper weights. And guess what we got? The number one seat. Guess what team? Penn State.
Yep.
So, but with Quentin Wright coming up, guys, his opponent, Campoliatano. Let's go with that, huh? Campoliatano.
Hey, if it works for you, it works for me.
Campoliatano from Ohio State Wrestling. Mr. Quentin Wright. And I'm sure Wright wants this thing to turn out right.
Yep. And the other semifinal here, still at 174. Mike Evans did get a 3-point near fall. Leads Jordan Blanton 5-0. About 15
Evans
seconds
looking
left.
to want to go into the finals.
What's our problem here, fellas?
For the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Are we on or are we off? We're on still?
Nope, still on here.
All right, that's
Boy,
good.
tough on top is Mike Evans with his arm ride. Just really riding tough on top.
Yep. And there it is.
Hawkeyes,
Evans with a 5-6-0 win.
Evans went up for 165 this year, and I think it was a smart move for him to go up to 174.
Yeah, just last year he looked like he was kind of wearing out towards the end of tournaments.
Probably got tired of wrestling David Taylor, too, I think.
Yep.
That was probably getting old.
So for those who I gotten all excited here a minute ago, I apologize, but Pierce Harger from Northwestern, he winds up winning that 4-3 in the overtime.
The winner on mat number 2.
We got Coach Jay Robinson over here crutching over to the corner.
Yeah, for Enan.
Yep.
Or for Steinhaus, pardon me. Steinhaus and Enan coming up here. Josh Enan against Kevin Steinhaus.
Sitting next to Jay Rob on the bench there is Brandon Agam, who did an excellent job filling in when Jay Rob was in the hospital.
For Jay Rob as he was in the hospital, yep. Brendan Egan, by the way, had one of the two closest matches with Cal Sanderson back in the day. I got to watch that up on the campus of Central College in Fort Dodge, Iowa. I believe it was 6-5. Cal Sanderson came out on top. I remember Coach J. Rob bringing Eggman Brandon Eggum down from Minnesota for that very reason.
Just specifically
I
for
still
that
remember
match.
him walking into the doors. I can see him coming in the doors. And Eggum was had a T-shirt on. I think it said, "Where's Kale?"
And that was a crowded event that day.
So, yeah, it was. You were there, weren't you?
I was there, absolutely.
I think it was Matt number 3, actually. 6-5 was the score.
Folks, it's 7:39.
And then after that, Kale took off for the races.
You know where your wrestlers are.
Wright still scoreless down there. Wright's dangerous. He's a pinner. He loves to throw, guys. So.
Finest wrestlers on planet Earth in front of you right now.
Steinhaus and Innan.
Due up on mat number 2, wrestle back.
1 minute gone in the first period, 0-0 score.
Champaign from Ohio State. And Michigan's Chris Hield. Hield and Magram on deck. Mat number 2.
So we got,
He won one, then he lost one, then he won one, then he
let's see, I'm going to go with Capolitano. Capolitano. It's a fun name.
I think it's Capolitano.
Capolitano out there.
I can say it, I just
Well, you know,
can't say it.
Roger Vukobrakovich didn't show up for Purdue this year. He was their heavyweight last year. I like doing the Roger Vukobrakovich. That was fun, but
Looks like Enan's close to getting in a scoring position
tell
here
you
on
what,
Steinhaus.
he's got Steinhaus, and Steinhaus, real smart, stands right.
Steinhaus with the duck
Good
under,
wrestling
goes
by
behind.
Steinhaus.
And
Got
Enid
the hands
on the
down.
mat,
He
yep.
gets the takedown. So
You don't
Steinhaus
see
was
duck
too.
unders like that from big guys too often.
you don't.
Steinhaus hits him the best.
That was a very sweet move.
He had one at national duels, I believe, in the semis. That
Pretty
ended
sweet.
up putting the guy right on his back, and it was a pretty good move.
Steinhaus is tough. One of my favorite German names. That's a strong German name, isn't it?
Yep.
Steinhaus.
So Quentin Wright with the escape down there on mat number 3, right up 1-0 in the second period. About 1 minute and 30 seconds left in that second period.
Capolitano gets out, Quentin Wright gets out and leads Capolitano right now. So Wright leads Capolitano here 1-0, 1:27 to go in the second period. Those dots at my age are hard to see from here, guys, on that mat number 3. I'll just tell it like it is. Steinhaus is tough on top, so. This is kind of Minnesota's murderer's row, too. You got Steinhaus. Usually you have Storley.
Yep.
But he did win, so he's still winning in the wrestlebacks. And then you have Schiller, and then Mr. Tony Half Nelson. So, we'll stand up here just for a second. Speaking of Storley, I think he's out there. Correct?
Yeah, he's wrestling Nick Heflin from Ohio State. Heflin, the number 4 seed. Storley, the number 1 seed.
It's still, they're all locked up 1-1, if I'm correct here.
Yep.
So
1-1 in the third
Storley's had
period.
nothing but close matches today. I mean, every one of them, even his one loss, they've all been just super close. So.
Yep. 40 seconds left in that one.
Riding time is not a factor.
Yeah, so what you see is what you get. That's up there. Quentin Wright still just with a 1-point lead. There he goes. He's a pinner. He loves to throw.
I don't think he's
body
in
lock.
tight enough. Yep.
He can body lock. Yeah, I remember.
Capitano backs out of that one.
Was it Grant Gambrell? He did that in the Nationals that one year.
Oh,
Took Grant Gambrell down and pinned him just like that.
Yeah,
faster than I could call it, I remember.
If there's one position you don't want to be in with Quentin Wright, it's in the clinch.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the clinch. And personally, you know what match I'm hoping to see in Des Moines? Simmies, Kyvan Gatz and Quentin Wright.
That'd be a good one.
Oh, buddy, bring your camera.
All right, so second period ends.
Bring your cameras,
Quentin
folks.
Wright up 1-0. And Capolitano says, I'm going to go both on our feet, so we'll start both up.
So here we go, folks, and we got Steinhaus up by 3 now. He got the escape beginning of the second period against Enan for Nebraska. Coach Tony Ersland in the corner, and Craig Brester, 2-time finalist.
Oh, boy.
For Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Heflin gets a takedown to his
Heflin
back.
locks him up.
Oh, Storley's in trouble.
Heflin locks up Storley.
Logan Storley goes
throws
down.
him to his back in the overtime period.
Took
and
him right to his
wins.
back.
I'm telling you what, Logan Storley's having a
Tough day.
bad day.
He's 2-2. Is that correct? Or 1-2? Maybe?
1-2.
He's 1-2 today. He's got a losing record.
He's 0-1-0.
Wow. That's tough. They were all close. He's just keeping them so close, and it's not like him to do that. This whole year, he's had some amazingly dominant matches. And
That's a tough way to fall from the number 1 ranking.
Wright only up by 1 over Capitano.
Have to take his picture off the front page of Intermat rankings, huh?
Yeah, it probably will drop some. It's not going to help him any in the seeds, that's for sure, in Des Moines, Iowa.
No, it will not.
That's why this tournament here can make or break you depending on how your season
Make it
went.
tougher for you. So.
Absolutely.
But as long as you still win 5 in a row in Des Moines, you're still okay. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Quentin Wright still up 1-0. 36 seconds left in that match.
So I kept telling Zabriskie his senior year, 5 in a row, 1 at a time. That's all it takes. Easier said than done, huh?
So Kendrick Maple just wins a 141-pound competition at the Big 12 tournament.
Who's quicker in the college right now than Kendrick Maple? Would there be anybody?
One of the quickest.
It'd be fun having him and do a round robin with Tion Ware in his prime and Nate Gallick.
Yeah.
Try to call that. You know, Kendrick Maple, Gallick, and Tion Ware.
Gallick might be
Nate
one of the
was
strongest
fast.
guys pound for pound, too. He's
deceptively strong. He is. Because
13 seconds left in the match down there with Quentin Wright.
Yeah, those burly
Capitano
muscles.
decided he's going to push, and Wright wants to run, and everybody's growling about it. But you know what? Capitano had the whole third period. He danced around, so I have no sympathy for him.
Yeah,
now he wants to go like a house of fire, but
that's not smart wrestling, really. Should have started that 40 seconds earlier.
Yeah. So Wright moves on to the
barely. Tough match there by Capitano.
Yeah.
Wright's in the finals. It'll either be against Schiller or Burrick. Because Burrick. So.
Yep, we'll see.
We got Steinhaus here with the 7-1, 7-2 lead over Einen.
Yep, minute left in the third period.
So Penn State's in first place with 116. Iowa's in second place with 109. And in third place is the Minnesota Golden Gophers with 90 points.
You know,
Steinhaus trying to pick up some more points for him, maybe. Oh, nice ankle pick. That was, but good. That was good limp arm there by Steinhaus.
The Iowa Hawkeyes are experiencing what many of the long-suffering Iowa State University fans were
meltdowns.
You never want to feel too good about leading at the end of the first day because the next round will kill you.
If I do recall, it was either last year or the year before that Iowa was winning heading into the finals, and Penn State took it.
Penn State took it. Well, that was at Northwestern in Evanston.
Yep,
you mean the Big Tens?
Yep.
Yeah, it came down to the Penn State heavyweight took 7th or 5th, and that was the difference maker.
Yep.
Was the 7th or 5th place match. That made the difference. I believe it was half a point. Am I right? It's either half a point, 1 or 1.5. I was there. I kind of forget. But
Steinhaus here getting a 10-2 major
decision.
Einen.
So
that's
picking
big,
up some
big
more
bonus points there.
Yeah, and the Golden Gophers are in third.
That sets
right
up
now
for
with
Bobby
90,
Telford and Tony Nelson here.
Telford and Tony half Nelson. Steinhaus wins.
See, last year I would have thought that Tony Nelson was bigger than Bobby Telford.
Yeah, I know.
And right now there appears to be a notable size difference.
I think he's leaner. I think Nelson's been on a little diet here.
If Ethan Lofthouse and Kevin Steinhaus both beat their next opponents, it'll be the battle of the houses.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. Good job. Yep. Good job here. And what do we got? Burrick and Schiller?
Burrick and Schiller on the far mat, and we've got Tony Nelson and Bobby Telford here.
Hawkeye, Minnesota Gopher, Iowa Hawkeye. So might as well. Let's just have a dual meet, shall we?
This didn't work out very good for either one of them in the last time around for either one of the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, so Minnesota, they could, there were only, Steinhaus just got some points. So J. Carl Guyman was here. He could tell you what's going on right up front. But right now, Minnesota, if they could win these two, they might catch Iowa for second, possibly. Because it was 90 to 109. Jeff Murphy?
For those wrestling fans out there, Jordan Oliver, ranked number 1 in the country, just won a Big 12 title.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. He's a Hodge Trophy chaser, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he pinned Max Mayfield from Iowa State.
No,
Mayfield was a surprise finalist there at the Big 12 tournament.
I will tell you, though, on the duel this year, Mayfield kept it to a regular decision. One of the few people that had this year against Jordan Oliver. So that was at Hilton, though, and that was then and this is now. So
yeah. So two big matches between the big men from Minnesota and the big men from Iowa. 0-0 score on both mats. Everybody just sort of feeling each other out here in the first period.
Burke really seeded sixth, and in the finals, he beat last year's Big Ten champions. Remember, Jeff Murphy called that match against Mario Gonzalez. It was down here on the north mat here. And Gonzalez just came up short, and Burke wrestled a real smart match there for a freshman.
So end of the first period, as we go into the second period, Schiller takes down. Referee blows the whistle, and Schiller up to his feet really quickly. Burke trying to pressure him back down, but Schiller gets the escape 8 seconds into the thing.
Schiller draws first blood, takes the first lead here 1-0.
Still a tight match here between Bobby Telford and Tony Nelson here.
Schiller's just a redshirt sophomore.
Now, I would have swore that when I watched them on TV in the national duels that
Nelson looked larger.
Nelson looked a lot bigger than Telford.
Yeah, he did.
But sitting here today, I'm going to tell you, Telford's a bigger man.
And we rode the elevator with rode up in the elevator with Nelson yesterday, and he did look huge, really. You made that comment.
Yeah. It's probably safe to say it looks like Telford's got 15 plus pounds on him.
And about 3 inches maybe height, 2 or 3 inches of height, I would say.
He looked very different on TV.
Yeah, yep. Maybe just because he wrestles big, you know?
Yeah,
he just has that big man look, yeah.
Hey, he's a big match wrestler, though, too.
Yeah, he is, boy. Yeah,
there's one heavyweight I want on my team at heavyweight, to close out a duel.
That's why I'm not on TV. It'd make me look bigger, and that'd be a bad thing. Of course, with the widescreen TVs we have nowadays, I'd fit right in. So
Nelson is 25-1. Do you remember who he lost to?
Did he lose to Galagayev?
That's who I was going to say earlier.
Did he lose to him earlier in the year?
I believe he did in their duel.
Yeah. Galagayev beat him, and then Tony put him in the Tony half Nelson.
Yep, because the Pokes beat the Gophers down in Galagayev.
Down in Stillwater. You're right. Yeah, so it would have been Galagayev, and then Nelson returned the favor.
Yep. And then the Gophers did get revenge back at St. John's Arena in Minneapolis a month or so later, a couple months later.
It's a good match to watch on YouTube.
We've got no additional score down there on mat number 3 with Schiller still up 1-0 with 12 seconds left in the second period. Excuse me.
We're going to start the second period here. Tony Nelson's going to choose down. Still tied at 0.
Bobby Telford on top. Riding time.
Got a little blood here. So
yeah, there is a blood situation.
Wipe a little blood
here,
off.
So yeah.
All right, we go to the third period. And it's a 1-0 lead for Schiller over Burke from Iowa. Burke now in the down position. Schiller covers. Referee blows his whistle. Burke up to his feet almost immediately.
Nice stand-up by Burke.
Schiller,
you call it there.
Schiller hanging on tough, trying to pressure him, but Burke splits the hands and gets the escape.
Gets the 1-point escape, so wow, 1-1.
That's the score up here.
1-1 with 1 minute and 45 seconds left.
Who wants it, huh?
Tony Nelson did get a escape here 4 seconds into the second period. Now leads 1-0.
I'd say that Telford's got the body frame and
Schiller's
size.
in deep on a leg.
Nelson has a lot of power.
Yep.
Oh, but
Schiller in deep.
Yeah, Burke goes to the edge, but Schiller dragging him back on the mat. Got a single leg way up over his shoulder.
He's got that. He's got to drive it or pull Burke
if
back.
If that's anybody else, they'd be taken down, but Burke's got a couple inches on him.
That's just it.
Crazy.
Schiller needs to pull him back to the center.
Wow.
He's not going to get the takedown.
Oh, nice.
Goes to the
edge of the mat wrestling. Smart wrestling there by Burke.
No, nothing.
Schiller's got the foot.
Yep.
He's got the leg,
Schiller's
the lower
got the
calf,
leg, and they're on
the
the
foot,
edge of the mat, and I don't think that.
That's not.
No, I don't think he can get it. The referee is not going to give it to him as long as he has that leg.
That's a takedown right there.
There might be.
Still nothing.
No, just because of the lack of control.
Wow.
Still
there's a lack of control.
56 seconds
what a change of
out of the true freshman.
Oh yeah, the true freshman. You talk about redirecting the match and being mat savvy.
Telford's in on a huge almost takedown here.
Single leg here against Tony Nelson.
Nelson got him out of bounds there on the line here.
Just getting to Nelson's leg is an accomplishment.
Burke was in on a single leg.
Schiller doing a good job.
Schiller peeled it off.
Telford's going to walk the leg out of bounds.
Both of these guys really going after each other. So
30 seconds left between Schiller and Burke. All tied up. Riding time not a factor at all.
These two semis here are huge for the team points.
They are big.
Head to heads
second
here.
place, yeah. And for running for the championship, obviously.
And I have
too,
to imagine that those guys don't like losing to each other.
No.
The Hawkeyes and the Gophers.
You can count on it, man. J. Rob being the longtime assistant under Dane Gable many, many years in Iowa City. Moving his ranks and all that he knew up to Minnesota and been very successful.
2-1 time.
Won
So
some team titles
we're going to go to
up there.
overtime here between Schiller and Burke. 1-1 in regulation. Put a minute on the clock. Referee blows his whistle, and here we go. Whoops. Looks like we did something wrong here. We got to get the clock fixed. So,
Burke and Schiller.
all right, back to the center. We'll try this again.
Telford chooses neutral in the third period.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, right. Well, he got the lake, maybe because he had that single on Nelson. Maybe he smelt something there.
Yep.
That and maybe he saw
smelled a
the
little
Tony
blood.
Half Nelson on YouTube and was a little
That's
afraid.
right. That's true, too. Yeah, you called it, Chad Chris.
Schiller in on
Tony
a couple of
Half-Nelson.
shots, but Burke able to counter him both times.
Nice caller,
35
Todd,
seconds left.
I'm really impressed with Burek's composure here. As,
He has
true
done
freshman
good
here,
as a number
wrestling the
6 seed.
semis. Not really making too many Mets.
Pulls Burke right in on top of him. But,
nice hips
but
by Schiller.
Schiller throws his hips in, trying to
Awesome
scoop
hips.
behind. If he can
And
get
that's
behind,
gonna be-
and there he is. Schiller with the take.
That's it. The Minnesota Golden Gophers pull out a win there against Burke. Great wrestling by both of those guys today, though. That was a great match.
Yeah, Burke simply just stopped wrestling there, got in on the leg,
just for
got
a
extended,
second.
and just let his head hang on the mat, and that's when guys capitalize.
Said it, Chad Crizzy. Just stopped for a split second.
So we've got a minute left in the heavyweight championship match here.
Nelson's in on a high crotch.
Semifinal match, I'm sorry.
Head inside single.
Yep. Nelson up 1-0. Riding time not a factor. And Nelson in on a
Telford's whizzing hard
deep
right
single.
now. 40 seconds left.
He's kind of trying to turn it into a high crotch situation.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not been over far enough, but it's a kind of a high single
muscle
grab.
versus muscle.
Yeah,
there.
the immovable object against the
Going to
irresistible
call a
force.
stalemate here. 32 seconds left in the bout. Tony Nelson does lead 1-0. No riding time.
Wow. That's big, so. Heavyweight match down there. The other one's getting started there between Michael McMullen and Medbury from Wisconsin. So Northwestern and Wisconsin. Badger against the Wildcat, and the Wildcat takes the first shot.
Telford's in on a leg.
Yeah, with 4 seconds. Nope.
Nelson
6 seconds left in the
sprawls
match.
out.
Too little, too late. Tony Nelson with the big win.
Looks like there was a couple words exchanged there between the two.
They wanted to duke it out. They wanted to duke it out. So
Probably-
Nelson wins again.
Probably should have done that during the match.
He made a shot at it there
Looks
with
like-
just a few seconds to
Looks
go.
like Agam's talking to the ref about it, and Terry Brands has a couple words to say, and they shake hands, though.
Yeah,
They're just competitors.
Yep.
Yeah. Hagen's tough. He said, I know, why don't we wrestle about it right now? Since I got a 30-pound weight advantage.
He's not going to let Brands have the last word. And they just part ways amicably.
Yeah. So both Gophers come out ahead there, guys, over Iowa. So will that make a difference?
Oh, that'll make a big
in
difference.
second, third place? Because
you get 6 points each plus an advancement point.
So,
those
yeah.
are worth 7 points apiece.
Yep. And we
Those
got
are
one more semifinal heavyweight
That's 14
match going,
points. That ought to move the Gophers into second place. So as much as the first round today was an epic success for the Iowa Hawkeyes, I think the second round was probably just as big a crash. I mean, yes, they did get their bottom 3 wrestlers all advanced, but, you know, they had 3 wins this round and 7 losses.
McMullen leads Medbury down there 2-1. And Northwestern Wildcat leads the Wisconsin Badger. Minute and 30 seconds, I believe it is, down there.
Yep, we got two
in the first period.
2 puny little guys down here in front of us, and Jimmy Lawson from Penn State.
Tell you, Penn State would love these points too. Wouldn't they? Casey Cunningham and Kel Nolan, they're in the corner.
Adam Chalfant from Indiana.
Coaches know these are important for team points. I mean,
tell you what, both
for
of
the
those
team
fellas
race.
are big. They
They're
got to
some
be
big
bordering
boys.
on the top.
Chalfant,
Yep, top limit.
Chalfont's big.
More often than not, NCAA team titles are won on the backsides.
Tell you what, that's how you brought it up a little bit ago, Chad Chris, that one where Penn State pulled it out the end, and that's how they won it. Was it the heavyweight for them at the time?
Oh, calls off the match.
Won it in a match that most people thought wouldn't be important, but it determined the tournament.
I think that was a little bit of a questionable call. The referee saying in and out. I think his foot was all in the cylinder. I don't think it wasn't on the mat, but it was in the cylinder. I think that was a poor call on the referee's
I know
part.
somebody agrees with you. Cale Sanderson.
I'd say about the 40 people sitting in front of us as well.
Yeah, exactly.
The Penn State
and the 40 people sitting behind us. So in our other championship match here in the heavyweights.
It's the last semifinal, actually.
It is.
I'm sorry, and the last match of the
for the semifinals.
The semifinals in the championship bracket. 2-1 lead for
Michael McMullen.
Mike McMullen, Northwestern.
Medbury's had some good wins today, a 7-3, and then I think he had a bye his first round, so he is the number 3 seed. So heavyweight's kind of following seeds here, really, with Nelson.
Yep.
Number 1 against number 4 Telford. Then Medbury and McMullen. McMullen leading right now 2-1, but. So Michael McMullen.
What extra bouts?
Let's see here. McMullen really riding tough here on Medbury. Medbury up to his feet, gets out. Boy, just when you think Medbury was going to get the escape, great, very quick ankle grab there by Michael McMullen. Medbury's good, getting up to his feet a lot, but McMullen does a real good job of dropping down to a leg, and that's the difference maker. Good hip action there between two big heavyweights on mat number 3 there. Michael McMullen Medbury was just kind of pulling the trigger, but McMullen doing a good job of reaction. That reactionary wrestling is very important. Counter wrestling. Chad Chris brought that up with Derek St. John. You were saying he's one of those, just his second shot, his reshot is what always makes him so dangerous.
Yep. That's
He'll give you the first shot, but guess what? Second shot usually goes his way. So.
Oh, really nice little roll for Lawson from Penn State.
They're locking it up, man. They're going after each other.
Pushes him, and Lawson kind of grabs him hard around the head, and Chalfont pushes him
Kel
again.
and Casey get up trying to say, okay, you guys don't. Let's make sure this doesn't turn into a slugfest.
There's a lot of momentum there going, too.
I thought that was going to be, yeah.
I thought they were going to start doing some haymakers there. Coach are saying, no, don't get no points deducted, please.
Absolutely.
This is important, guys.
We don't want to lose by one.
Don't get over it. I want you to be aggressive, but make sure it's legal here.
Yeah.
But,
so, Chalfont up 2-1.
Yeah. Chalfont leads over Lawson. Lawson's had a good tournament so far in Chalfont. Yep. So McMullen's all tied up, guys.
Yep, 2-2.
Because of the escape for Medbury of Wisconsin.
McMullen's got 1 minute and 23 seconds of riding time.
Yeah, it's a lot of riding time for heavyweight. So it's a feather in his cap for now, that's for sure. Just 20. What do we got down there for time remaining? Can you help me on mat 3 there, Chad Chris?
Yeah, there's 20 seconds left.
20 seconds, all right.
Minute 23 of riding time looks like in favor of McMullen.
Yep. Yeah, so Michael McMullen's gone into driver's seat. For riding time, he's got 1, 2, 3. So Gonzalez, last year's champion, coming back and winning a match for the hometown crowd. Which is big for them. Now Medbury starts on top, is that correct? And McMullen on the bottom. So see what happens here between the big boys down on mat number 3. Nice chop there by Medbury. Takes Michael McMullen, throws him back down.
Yep, McMullen back up to his feet.
Gets the hands free, and cuts him for 1 now. Michael McMullen up 3-2 with still riding time. He just gave up 9 seconds of riding time in that ride out for Medbury, so got out pretty quick. So technically speaking, he's up 4-2 right now with the riding time.
Yep.
So Medbury needs to do some attacking.
Lawson and Chalfont down here, 33 seconds left in the second period, and Chalfont up 3-1.
So both of them, Kale's over in the corner saying, ain't go pick him.
Yeah.
Ain't go pick him. Do I have to come out and show you how to do it? Medbury, look, guys, he has McMullen's leg in the air.
Yeah, he does.
He was listening to you, Jeff Murphy.
Oh, he gets it. I think he's going to get
the whizzer, he gets it, so here we go.
No, McMullen.
So technically it's Michael up, and can he get out, though? They go out of bounds, and good, smart
takes
wrestling.
the pylon out.
There goes the scoreboard.
Yeah. But they save it.
4-3. Medbury doing a good job, though, pushing that out of bounds, even though it ended up in the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Because he knew McMullen was up fast, wasn't he? Got up on his feet and trying to get that escape.
So here's the real deal. So there's 52
Get rid of riding
seconds,
time.
But more important, it's riding time.
Guarantee. McMullen gets out.
Yeah, McMullen out with 1 minute and 4 seconds of riding
tough.
time.
That's really not a 1-point escape. It's almost what you call a 2-point escape, if you know what I mean, because of the riding time situation.
Medbury needed to ride him for 5 more
seconds. People listening say, Steve don't know wrestling. Well, maybe that's true, but I know escapes are worth 1, but when you got 5 seconds, 1 minute and 4 seconds of riding time left, you got out just in time. That's worth 2 maybe by the end of the match.
Yeah, Medbury's just got to get in and take him down if he wants to win this match.
Yeah, because it's really 4-4 on the scoreboard, but
McMullen content to just kind of hand fight.
Yeah, he can back up some. I mean, I don't think either wrestler's been warned, is he?
No, I don't think so either.
Have they been? I mean,
no, I don't think so. So I don't think there's enough time. Medbury in on an ankle.
Boys in there deep.
Leg. 5
That'd be the
seconds
difference
left. Will he get
maker.
it? If he can get
Doing
both
the arm
legs,
chop.
I don't think he can.
There's 2.
McMullen doing the splits.
Because of the splits.
Big time splits.
The splits was the difference, I believe, right? Because they say no control.
On the edge of the mat, Medbury did the splits. McMullen
That's the difference maker then. 4
McMullen
seconds.
did the splits. Medbury couldn't get the other ankle. It's all over.
You rarely see heavyweights move like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's good, Chad.
I thought Medbury was going to grab that ankle and pull him back onto the mat. But I guess there just wasn't enough time.
Yeah, because if he did cover that far ankle, which I don't think he had, that would have been a takedown.
Yep.
It looks like Barry Davis is wanting to.
He's wanting to challenge it, is he?
Yeah.
What's he know? He's only won 3 national championships, right?
So Chalfant from Indiana now up 7-3 over Lawson from Penn State.
I know Chad's young enough not to realize this, but was Barry Davis a force in his day?
I think he was.
He was an energy. He had a lot of energy, guys.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
He was amazing. 3-time NCAA champ. And
I believe he was a Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah, he was. He was tough. He was a tough kid. Barry Davis was one of the greats.
And he liked chocolate donuts.
Yeah, he did. You read that story too, didn't you? The time he said, forget it. That's not worth it. And Gable found him at the grocery store, took the donuts, said, put him in the garbage. You're going away in. That was an amazing story. I think Lou Bannock was involved at that. At that too.
So I'm not. Oh, we're looking. We're reviewing.
We are. So we're not going to shut it down here yet.
So, no, we got a few matches to go here.
This is confusing here. I wonder what the.
Well, I think what Barry Davis is arguing is that when McClure went off the mat, he stuck his free leg way back, and it went all the way underneath the scorer's table over there, or the head table. So if that was the case, maybe there's something, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's over. It is. And Mike McMullen.
So Northwestern wins it. Nice strategy by Medbury. Just came up a little short. Both of them wrestling really smart. So, but
what do we got from matches going on here now?
Well, so we got some 190 pounders, and we've got some 197 pounders, and we've got some heavyweight matches. And no, I'm okay. And so I'm not sure exactly what this threw, but team standings at this point in the game. Penn State now in first with 123. Minnesota moves into second place, and I did not catch the score, but moved ahead of Iowa into second place. Iowa Hawkeyes number 3. I'm sure we'll catch a team score here through the end of the championship round.
waiting to get some bout numbers here for these smaller guys. They're not quite 125-pounders, so trying to figure out who these guys are wrestling.
Who are these guys? Well, Scott said something over the PA system about how these matches weren't going to count for
team points.
Team points, but so maybe it's some kind of a wrestleback type of situation because we've only got so many qualifiers going to nationals, and maybe there's someone in that spot that has a chance to advance. Let me see here. Got my handy dandy paper. Big Ten Conference.
Yeah, see, there are no.
So at heavyweight, they're going to take 9 guys, and then there's some.
So they've got some true wrestlebacks going on.
Yeah,
here.
it looks like it. It looks like it.
So if I were to guess, just by looking at the qualifiers, probably be 49, 65, 74, somewhere around in those weights.
Yeah. So if we. The worst part is there aren't any match numbers for it because there aren't any way to have a match number for it. So that's a little bit of a toughie for us here, folks. So
let's see. Usually they flip that on the big screen here, so hopefully we'll catch that here in a second or two.
Yeah, we'll see where we're at. So,
but it just looks like there's 2 going on right now. See a couple of guys bouncing around, so they might be on deck.
Yeah, so if they'll put those up on the big board so we can see what the score is.
This is your final extra match and the final announcement for a match of the evening.
Okay, we got Scott Casper letting us know what's going on here over the PA.
United States, Costa carried over. It'll be on deck mat number 3. On deck mat number 3, his opponent will be Chris Lopez.
So I'm sorry about the dead air. We're trying to listen to Scott Casper, the arena announcer, to find out exactly what's going on with these extra matches because obviously they'll be important when you consider that these young men are wrestling for a spot in the NCAA tournament. But obviously important from their own personal perspective and obviously important from their team's perspective because although they won't score any points in the Big Ten tournament tonight, they'll certainly have the ability to score points in the NCAA tournament for their team.
Yep, and if you don't have a qualifier, you can't score any points at that weight.
That is exactly correct.
It would be nice if they did throw that up. I don't even think the people at the head table know what's going on.
I'm sure somebody does, but I'm not sure how many. So I'd like to see him at least throw the team score back up there because I think all of the matches, well, I think there's one more here. I was going to say I think all of the matches are completed, but 152. So Huntley and Atwood are down here. That one just wraps up. Looks like the red guy. Looks like Max Huntley from Michigan with a win at 197 pounds. And I think that does it for all the championship round. Wow, who's right here below us? Nope, that's an over extra, some zeros. So I believe that's it for all of the championship round matches. So hopefully we'll be able to catch a team score here in a little bit and give you an indication of where we're at before we sign off for the night. While Chad is sorting things out, let me get in my little book here, Chad. While Chad's sorting things out, I want to make a couple of comments for those listeners that are still hanging in with us, and we'll try to give you an indication of who these matches are here in just a minute. There's a team score. So final team score for the evening, I believe, is Penn State in first place with 123 points. Minnesota moves into second with 112, and Iowa into third with 109. Ohio State in fourth with 92. Illinois in fifth with 76.5, and Michigan in sixth with 52. So Penn State with just an outstanding round tonight. Starts
from
off
third to first there.
Yep, way behind and jumped way up into the lead. 123 points. There we go. Now we see who's up here on the mat. Nope, that's still not right. That's the heavyweights. So
if I were to take a guess, I would assume it'd be the weights where we have at least 8 qualifiers. Or somewhere around there. 49, 65, 74, 97, and even heavyweight has 9 qualifiers.
Yeah, the challenge with it is that we have no idea who any of these guys are, and there's no indication of what their weights are on any of the clocks. So we can take a guess, but we'll probably be wrong. That's really what it boils down to. So let's take a quick look here, and then I think we probably wrap our show up because there's I don't know that we're going to be able to provide any information to anyone out there. So
Nope.
So as we wrap up this semifinal round of the Big Ten tournament here in Champaign, Illinois, let's set up the matches for tomorrow night. We'll reserve our comments for tomorrow after we've had a chance to think. But at 125 pound in the championship match will be Matt McDonough from Iowa versus Jesse Delgado from Illinois. 133, Logan Stieber from Ohio State versus Tony Ramos from Iowa. At 141, Hunter Stieber from Ohio State versus Matt Balwick from Iowa. 149, Jake Souflon from Nebraska versus Dylan Ness from Minnesota. At 157, it's James Green from Nebraska versus Jason Welch from Northwestern. 165, David Taylor from Penn State versus Conrad Poles from Illinois. 174, Matt Brown from Penn State versus Mike Evans from Iowa. 185, Ed Ruth from Penn State versus Kevin Steinhaus from Michigan. 197, Quentin Wright, Penn State versus Scott Schiller from Minnesota. And at heavyweight, it's Tony Nelson from Minnesota versus Mike McMullen from Northwestern. So a big night for the Penn State Nittany Lions, kind of a tough night for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Right in between for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. They've got to feel pretty good about where they're at in the process right now.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a barn burner tomorrow night.
It sure is. That session starts at 11:30 tomorrow, and that's going to be a big round for those guys on the backside because that's going to put them in the third or fifth place match, and that's a difference in team points there, especially for schools like Penn State, Minnesota, and Iowa.
Yep. That's exactly right, Chad, because tomorrow's consolation matches, as we set themselves up for the placing matches later on, are the opportunity to get the single most points of anywhere left in this tournament as they take that step up from whether they're going to wrestle for third and fourth or they're going to wrestle for fifth and sixth.
Yep, and the team difference or the team point difference between second and third is only 2 points. So that's huge, wrestling all the way back to third place.
Yep. And plus, all those young men obviously have the opportunity for bonus points. So we've got a nice blend. There's, a mixture in the consolations. Minnesota, Penn State, and Iowa all have a number of men alive in the consolation brackets right now. So that'll make a big difference as to where we go tomorrow. So.
Yep, and like I said earlier, that round does start at 11:30. What do you say, Jeff? We probably go on around 11. Break down the finals matches?
Absolutely. We'll go on 11. We want to remind all our listeners out there tonight that it is daylight savings time. So spring ahead, move your clocks ahead, and we don't want you to all of a sudden tune in at what you think is 11:30 and find out it's 12:30 and we're already halfway done with the round. So, Chad, any final comments this evening?
Not a bad first day of my first Big Ten tournament.
You know what? It's my first Big Ten tournament
Really?
as well. And I've gone to the Big 12 tournament for a lot of years. And when I had the opportunity to come to the 10s, I just couldn't pass it up this year. So.
Yep. And this last year with 12 teams in it, so
yep.
It's going to be even bigger next year.
So I tell you what, a great evening of wrestling, and we want to thank all of you, and we want to thank again all of our sponsors for all of their support and what they've done to make this possible for us. And with that, we're going to sign off for the evening. So this is Jeff Murphy with Chad Chris for Takedown Radio. And we'll see you all tomorrow.